you been gone. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. She says she usually don't, but I know that she front. Cause shorty know what she want, but she don't want to seem like she easy. I hear you saying what you won't do, but you know we're probably gon' do what you've been feeling deep inside. Don't let it out now. Girl, what you drinking? Don't let it sink in. Here for the weekend, thinking we can see what we can be if we press fast forward. Just one more round and you're down out the door. If you fill another cup up, feeling on your butt, what? You don't even care now.
So here's the thing. It's Friday. And on Fridays, we sometimes don't turn our microphones on right away. And we also play your requests on the show. That would not be a song I would choose for myself. But you see, it's the song that gets played because you requested it. It is an all request Friday here on the show. And we are playing for you songs by actors who sang. That was Jamie Foxx. And Blame It on the Alcohol by request from Andrea, Farwell's Force member number 273. Andrea, thank you for being a member of Farwell's Force. We are collectively a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. And Farwell's Force members or otherwise make their requests on Fridays. And today's theme, actors who sing. Jamie Foxx, I don't mind as an actor. In Living Color was never my favorite thing, but it was not bad. And into his movie career, I absolutely loved him in Horrible Bosses. I cannot tell you on the radio the name of the character he played in those movies because, well, it's not fit for radio consumption. It was Mr. Jones. I think we'll just leave it at Mr. Jones. Nonetheless, if you didn't recognize Jamie Foxx's voice in that song, it's because he used this thing called auto-tune. How deep do you want me to go into this? There was a time, a long, long time ago, at a radio station very near to here, where once in a while, I also was, well, I'd say given the opportunity. I don't think that was it. I wouldn't have chosen to do it, but they made me sing on the radio. We used to do a bunch of these parody songs at this radio station I was working at. And they auto-tuned the ever-loving heck out of my voice for good reason. Jamie Foxx got the auto-tune treatment right there, too. And I don't know what other sounds were going on in that alleged song. But Andrea wanted to hear it, and gosh darn it, you get to hear your requests on Fridays here on the show. Surely it gets better from here, right? Or will it? All Request Friday. It's like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. This is Friday, May the 1st. We have turned the page to a new month on the calendar. And on that note, this is the day that begins the month that usually marks the start of the annual Farwell for Hire fundraising campaign in support of cystic fibrosis research. This is going to be our 13th annual fundraising campaign, as we raise as much money as we can to improve the lives of children who are living with this horrible disease. I am still optimistic that the money we raise is going to not just lead us towards those continued improvements, because it has. We've raised more than $1.6 million in the 12 years we've done this. But we want to get a cure. I believe in this. In my heart of hearts, I want us to get to a cure. The thing about the Farwell for Hire fundraiser this year is that it's happening 1 month from now. So today marks 1 month away from the beginning of Farwell for Hire, because I just wasn't sure how Farwell for Hire would work with the Kitchener Rangers season being a longer season this year. And wouldn't you know, we have a Kitchener Rangers game tonight, you see? And if the Kitchener Rangers win tonight, they're going to play some more hockey next week and the week after that too. So I didn't want to have any chance of overlap or conflict. I wanted to be able to do Farwell for Hire and my work in the Ontario Hockey League. And so because of that, we have moved the campaign this year until the month of June. So don't worry, it's still happening. We're just shifting it by a month. I encourage you to follow along on our Facebook page. Just look up Farwell for Hire on Facebook. That's Farwell, the number 4 Hire on Facebook, and follow along there. We're having a big launch party out at Block 3 Brewing on Thursday, June the 4th, and you are more than welcome to join us as we get another campaign underway. Please follow Farwell for Hire on Facebook and keep up with all of our updates. We're going to raise as much money as we can again this year. And yes, there will be a 50-50 raffle. Last year gave away more than $120,000 in that raffle, which was also $120,000 for our cystic fibrosis research. Anyway, thank you for that. Thank you for all of the support and following along on Facebook at Farwell for Hire. Just before we get to our Farwell Show 5 this morning, let's get to the phones and hear from you, because our phone line's open the minute we begin the show every day. We love the interaction. Andre is here. Good morning, Andre.
Oh, my goodness gracious, I won. Thank you, Mike. It means a lot. I'm like high on sport right now. I went to bed at 2:30. I called in with the Edmonton Oilers just to brag that we are going to win the Wayne Gretzky Trophy. And I'm thinking about Kasha Blow. That roof is going to blow up tonight, Mike. So to you and everybody that's out there, you guys enjoy the party, and going to be listening to every word of it.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate that. And I do feel as though today is kind of just an exercise in getting through the day until we go to the rink. Like, I might just go early to the rink tonight. I don't know, because this is a big day. This is a big day. I can only imagine how the players are feeling today. It is an opportunity that does not come around very often. In fact, for the Kitchener Rangers, this is an opportunity that has not come around since 2008. Interestingly enough, in 2008, when the Kitchener Rangers last won the Western Conference Championship, they won it in 5 games, 4 games to 1. Kitchener leads Windsor 3 games to 1 going into tonight's 5th game. I'm just saying. That's all I'm doing is saying. That's all I'm doing. Also, holy moly, am I excited for the game tonight. I am so excited for the game tonight. Gary, Farwell's Force, member number 41. Good morning.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Top shelf, my friend. How are you?
I bet you are. I'm doing great. Just driving around, delivering parts, and listening to your show like always. I know I don't get to call in as often as I want, but, I got, just bad timing, but I'm always listening.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Go Rangers, go. Man, yeah, you got to be on cloud 9 for sure. Like that's incredible. It's going to be a good night for you. And I wish you guys all the best. And another thing is, so this is May. I know we had a early start to winter last year, and I think we've gone through enough. But with May, I woke up this morning, and it's kind of nice out with the sun, but it's not warm enough. And we had a customer come into the showroom. He was bringing his car in for service, and he was wearing T-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. And I'm like, I don't think it's that warm yet.
Gary, it's all a mindset. It's okay. I respect it. Let's go already. It's way too cold out there today.
Hey, I know. Trust me. I've got my jacket and a hoodie, and I got the heat on in the car. I know. I'm ready for the nice warm weather. We've had little tastes of it here and there, but I was just like, oh, my God. Okay, hey, to each their own, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you want to manifest some better weather, get out there and wear your shorts. Here's something else I'd like to manifest. 189.9. Actually, let me rephrase that. I'd like to manifest 129.9. How about that? But 189.9 was the price at the gas station that I passed on my way into work this morning. No, I did not stop. Is it just me? Or is all of this stuff about the war in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz just kind of going in one of your ears and out the other ear? There's always an excuse, isn't there? Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. 189.9. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to sell my vehicle, and every nickel I get in return for the sale of that vehicle, I am going to invest in gas and oil stocks. And then if you can't beat them, you might as well join them, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10.
All right. How about your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning? We'll start at number 1. Buses are running around the region after an 11th hour deal was reached between the region of Waterloo and the union representing transit workers. A strike could have started today, but the region reached the tentative deal with Unifor Local 4304 last evening. No details of the agreement are yet public, but when the last contract was agreed upon in 2023, transit workers got an 11% raise. Number 2, there will be a new mayor in Woolwich Township later this year. Incumbent Mayor Sandy Shantz announced yesterday that she would not seek a 4th term. Shantz has been the mayor of Woolwich since 2014, but says it's now time to step away from public life and spend more time with family and friends. Now, if Mayor Shantz were an MP, she would do that for a few months, then come back and cross the floor, but that's a whole other story. Today, by the way, is the first day that anyone interested in running in the municipal election can formally file their intentions. We go to the polls on October the 26th. Number 3 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning. Porchlight kicks off Mental Health Month tomorrow with its 4th annual Cambridge Moves for Mental Health fundraiser. The event raises funds and awareness for accessible mental health services in Cambridge, North Dumfries, and Waterloo region as participants complete a 2.5-kilometer or 5-kilometer walk through downtown Galt. Cambridge Moves for Mental Health happens tomorrow from 11 until 2, starting and finishing in front of Cambridge City Hall. Information about registering and donating can be found at porchlightcnd.org. Number 4, the Cambridge Redhawks on the road tonight in St. Mary's facing the Lincolns in Game 4 of the Sutherland Cup. St. Mary's won Game 3 on Wednesday, handing the Redhawks their first loss of the playoffs. Cambridge had a 24-game winning streak that dated back to the regular season. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this Friday morning, the OHL's Eastern Conference Championship will have a 6th game. The Barrie Colts staved off elimination last night, keeping their hopes of winning the Bobby Orr Trophy alive with a 4-3 win in Brantford in overtime. The Bulldogs still lead the series 3-2, but tonight in Kitchener, the Wayne Gretzky Trophy will be in the house, and our Rangers have a chance to win it. Kitchener leads Windsor 3-1 in the Western Conference Final, so the chance to wrap it up is tonight. We've got you covered from pregame through postgame right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. The Harris Law pregame show starts at 6:30, and we continue right through Rangers talk when we take your phone calls after the game.
Bravo! I loved that. Oh, it was great. Well, it was pretty good. Well, it wasn't bad. Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though. It could have been a lot better. I didn't really like it. It was pretty terrible. It was bad. It was awful. It was terrible. Get him away! Hey, boo! Boo!
And that is your Farwell Show 5, like it or not, for this Friday morning, the 1st of May. Something else that we like to do on Fridays here on the show is a little something we call the not $1 million question. We have to call it that because you do not win $1 million if you get the answer right. But we're going to be pretty impressed with you. And we know that every day, if you could start your day, if by 9:15 in the morning, somebody could be thinking that you are the most impressive person they know or have heard today, it's not a bad way to start your day, right? So let's dive in, and you can take your best guess at the answer to today's not $1 million question. 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is it? What is this thing that 17 other people are going to touch before you buy it? I mean, it's practically used by that point, isn't it? but on average, 17 people are going to touch this before you buy it. What is this? If you think you know the answer, by all means, impress me. 519-570-2545. Star 570 or 1-800-570-5715. It's your not $1 million question this Friday morning. 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is it? This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
I'm sleeping and right in the middle of a good dream. Like all at once I wake up from something that keeps knocking at my brain. Before I go insane, I hold my pillow to my head and spring up in my bed, screaming out the words I dread. I think I love you. This morning I woke up with this feeling I didn't know how to deal with, and so I just decided to myself I'd hide it to myself and never talk about it.
Okay, I mean, an actor who sings? Or was this really a singing actor? Like, we're on the line here, Mark, with your request today, but I get where you're coming from. I Think I Love You by David Cassidy on your All Request Friday, Singers Who Act. I mean, I think he was obviously on the Partridge Family, and I kind of thought that he was already a singer before he got on a show where he sang. But nonetheless, it's singers who act, no, actors who sing, primarily known as an actor, but also did some singing. And as I said, it's kind of tough, and I don't really like rules. So, you know, if you play a little loose with them today, we're okay with that. On your All Request Friday, actors who also happen to sing or tried singing, as you'll hear throughout the show today. Something else we like to do on Fridays is a little game we play called the Not $1 Million Question. Today's question is 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is this item that will be touched 17 times before you pay for it? Let's go to the phones, see if we can find an answer. Rob, good morning.
Morning, Mike. Number 680 here.
Farwell's Force member number 680. I love it. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. I'm thinking it's an automobile.
You know what, Rob? That was one of the first things I thought too. They wouldn't only touch it. They might sit in it and even drive it before you buy it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Great guess, but not the answer we're looking for.
All right, my friend. Have a good one.
Thanks, Rob. You too. Great to hear from another Farwell's Force member this morning, number 680. Before you think we've got quite that many, that's one of the rando numbers that was assigned. But we're pretty darn close to 400 overall in sequential order. And when you add in all the randos like number 680 over there, man, we're pushing 400 strong. Pretty good force right now. Pat, good morning.
Hi there.
17 people have touched this before you bought it. What do you think it is?
I was going to say produce in a grocery store.
I also had that one cross my mind, and it freaked me out and just reminded me that that's why we wash it when we take it home, right?
Absolutely.
Great guess, Pat. Not the answer we're looking for, though.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Notice how I say great guess to two people who guessed the same thing that I guessed? Because, you know, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I says to myself all the times. Those were, honest to goodness, the two things that crossed my mind. Neither of them obviously correct. 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is it? Let's find out if Dave knows what it is. Farwell's Force member number 47. Good morning, Dave.
Morning. It's just out of left field.
That's okay. That's where I want it to come from.
I'm saying the gas nozzle at a gas station before you buy gas.
Oh, my gosh. I wish it was only 17 people. You know how many people go through those gas stations, Dave, every day? That's how they make all that money from us, you know.
Right.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Not the answer we were looking for, but another good guess. I would just think that in that case, 17? Because it's not like they're going out there and wiping down the handles. You know what I'm saying? 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What do you think this is? Ivan, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. A mattress.
A mattress? I did not think of a mattress. Not the answer we're looking for, but a pretty interesting guess.
Okay. Well, go Rangers.
You betcha, buddy. Thanks for the call. Go Rangers indeed. I hadn't thought of a mattress. And can we just be honest here for a second? When you're buying the mattress and, you kind of want to lay in it for a second, doesn't it feel weird? Like when you're in a store and you're lying, it's weird. I'm sorry. So maybe that's what you do. You kind of lean into it, do the little bounce off of it, right, with your arms to get a sense for that mattress. So that's a good guess, Ivan. I like where you're going with that, but it's not the answer we're looking for. John, Farwell's Force member number 67. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you, Mike. One other comment. Why not start the 50-50 for your campaign early? Or do we have to wait till June 1st?
We have to wait till June 1st, I'm afraid. It's a 1 month 50-50. There's all kinds of rules with the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know those people all too well. My guess, Mike, I'm not sure if I can sort of overbrand it, but produce, like if you go into the produce department and grab an apple, 17 people may have touched the apple before you buy it.
Yeah, that's what Pat was thinking before, but we're not right. Good guess, though.
All right, Mike. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Appreciate the call. John is Farwell's Force member number 67 because he likes to remind me that it's been since that year in the 1900s that the Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. Because you see, John cheers for the team that shall not be named. And on that note, just remember, okay, the substitute teacher has gone home. I've been working remotely because I've been traveling around this province and sometimes across the border. We started this OHL playoff run with the Kitchener Rangers in Saginaw. And when I'm not in studio, I don't have access to all of my little things. And a couple of you tried just earlier this week, pardon me. You took advantage of Jen, who was our board operator that day, and you snuck in some language that you know is not tolerated on this show. So I triple dog ding dang dare you to try that happy crappy again today, because I'm back, baby. I'm going to watch closely. You see how well-behaved John was? That's because John really is an upstanding guy, but nonetheless, we're on to you today. The substitute teacher has gone home. Mark is with us. Not $1 million question. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mike. I'm going to say a loaf of bread.
A loaf of bread. What do you pick it up for? To see how soft and fresh it is?
That's right.
You know what, Mark? Good guess again, but not the answer we're looking for. I think if I were to give you a hint right now, I think it would be, we could say, you could buy this at a grocery store, given how grocery stores operate these days. So I'll give you that. It's not produce. It's not a loaf of bread. But 17 people are going to touch it before you buy it. What is it? I will give you the answer before 10, I promise, and we'll even take more time before 10 for a couple more guesses. Think about it. 17 people are going to touch this before you buy it. What is it? The answer coming up before 10 this morning. Right now to the 570 News Center for an update. And then, how about a National Butter Tart Day? This is a real thing, and we're talking about it next on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio. I mean, you knew this one had to show up, and it begs the question, why, Eddie Murphy? Why? Stand-up comedian, actor who appeared in some big films, and then he's just like, well, I got to do this thing too. You know, you didn't have to, Eddie. You didn't have to. More auto-tune right there. Party all the time on this All Request Friday. Actors who sing or try to sing. Both Phil and Kyle wanted to hear that one on our All Request Friday. There is a petition that has been started, and this is not one of those change.org petitions that you can start about absolutely anything. This is a petition that has made its way right to the hallowed halls of our House of Commons in Ottawa. Our federal parliament will have to consider this because of the number of signatures it has garnered. It is an effort to create a national day in this country for the butter tart. I'm not making this up. You know I love me some butter tarts. So this is brilliant in my opinion, but I'm not making this up. It's an actual thing. And John Meisner is the man behind the petition. John makes time for our show this morning. So I guess the first and maybe most important question, John, is why? Why did you start this petition?
Well, as we discussed before we started recording, you're a butter tart aficionado, right?
I'd like to think so, yes.
I am a butter tart festival judge, and I've had some really, really great butter tarts at some of these festivals, but I've also had some absolutely putrid butter tarts. And what started all this was I was a butter tart festival judge back in February, and there were 6 judges on the judging panel, and there was one butter tart. All 6 of us immediately spat it right out on the plate. It didn't even taste like a butter tart. It was some, I don't even know about how to begin to describe it, but it was nothing close to what you and I would consider to be a butter tart. And I thought, now keep in mind, this is not a home baker. This is a business. This is somebody who is out there selling those things to the general public and saying, this is what a butter tart should taste like. And I thought, wow, what has happened to this recipe, this time-honored recipe in Canada, that we are now selling these things to the general public and telling them that this is what a butter tart should taste like? And what kind of got this whole petition going was I was thinking to myself, if you're new to Canada or you're visiting Canada from another country and you hear all of us Canadians raving about butter tarts, and then you go and try something that makes you want to spit it out on the plate, you're going to think we're crazy. You're going to think we've lost our minds, that this is our national dessert. And so that took me down a road of finding out more about the origin stories of the butter tart, who Mary McLeod was. Certainly, my family has been in Canada for 200 years, so I started digging into the pioneering history, not just about butter tarts, but of a lot of our Canadian desserts. So the apple fritter, for example, originally was the apple kukula, which was an apple cord cut into rings, and then those rings were dipped in batter and fried, and that over time evolved and became the apple fritter. Bannock bread, which has Scottish and traditional indigenous heritage. When you take bannock bread and you deep fry it and cover it in cinnamon sugar, it's essentially a beaver tail, right? So all these things we enjoy come from our pioneering heritage. And something has happened, and I mean, we could put a whole podcast on about this, but over time, things happened which caused people to take shortcuts and to change the recipe and for it to evolve. Now, some of those changes have been really great. But one of those changes was the use of corn syrup. In around the era, World War II era, sugar became incredibly expensive. And so corn syrup was considered an alternative because it was cheap and it was available and it was shelf stable. Then when we get into like 1972 and what's known in history as the Great Grain Robbery of 1972, where Russia bought up a huge amount of North American grain because of a weather disaster they had there, they bought up a lot of our grain. And so American corn production went into overdrive. And by 1980, we had this massive amount of corn that, you know, when the market restabilized, that corn was worth nothing. And so the investors had to get their money back. So they started pushing corn syrup even more than during the World War II era. If you remember back in 1984, Coca-Cola changed their recipe, came out with Coke, or a new Coke, which used corn syrup instead of sugar. And it was an absolute disaster. Within a year, Coke went back to the original recipe of using sugar, and rebranded it as Coke Classic, so which is what we're having now. So all these things kind of happen, but I mean, again, the petition to protect our national dessert, to protect Mary McLeod's original 1900 recipe, started with that really bad butter tart at that festival in February.
So, along with a day, John, to recognize this quintessential Canadian dessert, am I hearing, though, that you might be kind of in coordination or in concert with that day, a national butter tart standard? Because as a butter tart aficionado, I've had all kinds. Do we need a standard here?
Well, establishing a standard would be a whole other process. But if we can recognize Mary McLeod, so Mary McLeod was from Simcoe County up near Barrie. She was the first person to document this recipe in a cookbook, the Royal Victoria Hospital Women's Auxiliary Cookbook in 1900. She wrote down the recipe for butter tarts. The recipe existed prior to that, and it obviously existed since. But she was the first person to write it down. So this is why I decided to make a push to have Mary's original recipe and Mary McLeod honored with this petition for National Butter Tart Day, because Mary passed away on April the 19th in 1915. And I thought April is the start of the spring season. The outdoor markets are coming back, and a lot of butter tarts are sold at outdoor markets. The flowers are out, the kids are out playing outside again, kind of thing. And I just thought April's a nice time to have this national celebration, and then anchor that celebration in the history of Mary McLeod and the history of butter tarts in Canada.
And this is more than just a whim at this point, I would say. I mean, maybe it starts that way, the bad butter tart experience leading you to pursue this designation. But you've got an MP in Simcoe County involved in this, where Mary McLeod originally from. There's some weight, some heft to this, John.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before you can even get a petition to be put on the House of Commons website, you need an MP to sponsor it. And MP Adam Chambers from Simcoe County, when I reached out and told him what I was thinking of doing, I got the fastest response from a politician I've ever gotten in my life. He responded instantly and said, I am all over this. I love this idea. This is great. Let's do this. So he signed on board, and then I had to get 10 other people to sponsor it, to basically say, yep, we're supporting this. We love this idea. And once I had Adam on board, once I had the sponsors, I then sent it to the House of Commons. They reviewed all the documents and information, and they were able to approve it and put it on the website so it could start gathering signatures. But we've now had engagement from every single province and territory, from BC all the way out to St. John's, and as far as Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut have all signed the petition. So we've got cross-country support for this entire thing, which is great.
What do you think the chances are of us ultimately? I mean, this April 19th has come and gone, but there's another one next year, I hear. So what do you think your chances are here?
Well, after we get our all the signatures are done, so June 25th is the last day for signatures. And once we get all the signatures, now Adam Chambers has to take that petition forward to the House of Commons. There's a whole parliamentary process that takes place. It could take months before we actually hear anything, but provided that the House of Commons approves it, and I'd have to think it'd be pretty un-Canadian not to, they will then declare April 19th National Butter Tart Day from coast to coast. It'll actually end up on the Canadian calendar, so that every April 19th we can bake butter tarts, sell butter tarts, get together with our family, enjoy butter tarts, and just celebrate that legacy of Mary McLeod and all the pioneer women who braved the elements and the wild animals and made Canada what it is, right?
Okay, so as a butter tart aficionado, speaking to a very experienced butter tart judge, and I have deliberately left this until now, John, because I wanted to get the fulsome background of your effort here, but you know where I'm going, because these things, they can be divisive. And I guess I'm a little bit luckier. I don't recall ever really encountering a butter tart I didn't like, because sugar as a main ingredient, I'm a pretty happy guy. For me, it is all about what I call the goo. It's all about the filling. I don't really care about the pastry a whole lot. It's just they're holding the goo in place. I prefer mine a wee bit on the runny side, but here's the kicker. There had best not be anything impeding the delivery of the goo to my system. I don't want, and I know Mary McLeod had currants in her original recipe. I want none of that raisin nonsense in my butter tart, John Meisner. None of it. So what are we going to do about this? How do you feel about the raisin or the not raisin butter tart?
Well, before we get into the raisin or the not raisin butter tart, when we talk about a butter tart, and this is again as a Butter Tart Festival judge, when I'm presented with a tart, the first thing I do is look at it because we always eat with our eyes first. We do, right? So what I want to see when I'm judging a tart, I want to see that high resolution photograph of a butter tart. I don't like butter tarts that come in little tinfoil trays. That's not a butter tart. If you need that tray to hold your butter tart together, it's not a butter tart. I like butter tarts that look like those high resolution photographs. So, and I examined the crust. I examined the crust to filling ratio because you don't want a whole bunch of crust and a little bit of filling. And I've had butter tarts where, it's a nice looking butter tart and there's a nice crust, but when you break it open, there's nothing inside. It's empty. And I'm thinking, well, where's the filling? Where's the good part? Where's the goo that you're looking for, right? So that's one of the things I judge for is not only does it have a nice crust, nice presentation, but the filling is almost to the top, right? It's not sunken in. There's not a crater in the tart. It's almost to the top of that crust. And then when you do break it open, there's that ooey gooey filling. Now, some people like it a little runny. Some people like it nice and firm. Nothing wrong with that. Either is fine. But I've had butter tarts where I break open that crust and it's like a dam breaking and there's this deluge, this monsoon of liquid that comes pouring out all over the plate and all over the floor. And again, what's the point of having a butter tart if there's no filling in it? You have to have the filling with the tart. Otherwise, you shouldn't be able to drink this thing with a straw, is what I guess I'm getting at. So when I'm judging, I make sure that the filling, there can be a little bit of runniness, but if it just spills right out, then that's a no-no for me. I like to think that I can walk down the street eating a butter tart and not getting it all over myself, right? That's kind of the litmus test, right? So then when it comes to the filling, what's inside? Well, we have traditional butter tarts, your plain, your raisins, your pecans, your walnuts, sometimes chocolate chips maybe would be considered traditional. And then you have your non-traditional butter tarts. And this is where chefs can get really creative, considering, though, that the foundation of the non-traditional tart is still the original butter tart, the original recipe. They're just adding a little something to it, like lemon or maybe a raspberry, or one of my favorites is a Hascat berry, which is a East Coast Nova Scotia berry. It's kind of like a marriage between a blueberry and an elderberry. So it's plump like a blueberry, but it's got a really tart sort of flavor to it, almost like a lemon. And that tartness really works well with a butter tart. So now to get back to your question, I'm a raisin fan. I like raisins, but as long as it's a traditional butter tart and we're following the way things are, there's no such thing as a bad butter tart as long as it's consistent with all those things I just described. My wife is a diehard pecan fan. She said that there's a reason they call them raisins because it's a sin to put it in a butter tart.
Smart lady, John. Smart lady.
That's why I married her. And for a plain butter tart, again, as long as everything else is like the way I described it, consistent, you've got that nice crust, the flakiness of it, the filling, that gooey filling. But the most important part when I'm judging a butter tart is the taste. Butter is the star of the show. And if I don't taste butter, it's to me, it's just a tart, right? So there are people who, use a lot of different shortcuts. Like I've had butter tarts that are made with margarine. No, I'm not tasting butter. I've had butter tarts that are made with sweetened condensed milk. No, not a butter tart. I've had butter tarts made with corn syrup, which to me is probably the most offensive thing you can put in a butter tart for a couple of reasons. One, corn syrup is not a natural sugar. It is, you can't take a kernel of corn and squeeze it and get syrup out of it, right? Like you can get syrup out of a maple tree. Corn syrup is made by taking the starches out of the corn. So you have to have a chemical process there to extract all the starches. And now you have to have another chemical process to convert those starches into a sweetener or into a sugar. And it just has this chemical flavor that's just unmistakable. And for me, I'm not a fan of it. Maple syrup is great. A maple bacon butter tart, really good. But butter, again, butter is the star of the show. And I've got to be able to take, it doesn't care. I don't care if it's plain pecan raisin. I've got to taste butter. Otherwise, I'm just eating a tart.
I think that makes abundant sense. As long as on National Butter Tart Day, because I'm assuming this is going to happen, why wouldn't it? I can enjoy my plain butter tart, and you stay far enough away that you can have your raisin butter tarts, Meisner. Like fine. I'll never quite understand those failed grapes being in there. But anyway, as a fellow Ontarian and butter tart fan, and who has tasted so many, any places that you would recall, John, having tested a butter tart from that really stand out to you?
Well, I need to kind of remain impartial because I am a Butter Tart Festival judge.
That's fair.
But certainly I could tell you which places to avoid, and I could also tell you which ones I've really enjoyed. There is a place down in, where is he? He's not St. Catharines. He's in Welland. I think he's in Welland, called the Butter Tart Shack. And his name is Jason, and he's a butter tart aficionado like you and I. And again, his butter tarts hit all the right marks. They hit all those criteria. I have had butter tarts from the Maid's Cottage up in Newmarket. Shout out to folks in Newmarket. The Maid's Cottage butter tarts, again, they conform to everything that I described. And the thing I know about Jason and the things I know about Donna and Pam up at the Maid's Cottage is they don't use chemical fillers or anything like that. They are traditionalists. They follow the recipe. It looks like a butter tart, acts like a butter tart, tastes like a butter tart.
I am very impressed with the effort you've put into this so far. I am more than happy to support it because, again, why wouldn't we have such a day? And this is a lot of fun. Thanks a ton, John, for joining the show today. Really appreciate it.
You are quite welcome, Mike. Good talking to you. Anytime.
John Meisner. Let's make April the 19th National Butter Tart Day. Yes, please. All right, we're going to take a break. We still don't have an answer to our not $1 million question today. 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is it? The answer before 10. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. Just before our update in the 570 News Center, let's see if we can get that answer to our not $1 million question. 17 people will touch this before you buy it. What is it, Maureen? Do you know the answer?
I think it's a magazine at the checkout in the grocery store.
Oh, Maureen, you know how close you are. You're right there, but not quite.
Okay, it's probably gum or candy or something. Okay.
Thanks, Maureen.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good to hear from you. Once I mentioned the hint about, well, because a lot of produce guesses, right? A loaf of bread was guessed. I said, yeah, today's modern grocery store, you could make the argument you can get this in the grocery store. I got a lot of guesses via email for an item of clothing. Very good. The answer, though, as to what it is that 17 people will touch before you buy it, a greeting card. 17 other people will have handled and probably read. So just remember, you are buying a pre-read greeting card at the store, grocery or otherwise. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. Chilling pulling out max and relaxing, all cool and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared and said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." I whistled for a cab, and when it came near, the license plate said fresh and it had dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, nah, forget it. Yo, home's the Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7.
I mean, before he was a mega movie star, he was just that, the Fresh Prince. So did he become a singer, like, who then acted, or is he still an acting singer? It's tough. The lines get blurred on All Request Friday today, but Clinton, Farwell's Force member number 35, wanted to hear The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by Will Smith. And that's how it works on All Request Friday. You make the request, and we play it for you on the show. Tomorrow marks the return of what has become an annual event in the city of Cambridge. It's the annual Healthy Heart Day. This is a free virtual event that runs from 9 until noon tomorrow. And it will also be broadcast on Rogers TV Cable 20. One of the driving forces behind it, and here to talk more about tomorrow's events, is Dr. Shaker Pandey, a cardiologist at Cambridge Memorial Hospital and the founder of the Prevent Clinic, the Cambridge Cardiac Rehab Program. Dr. Pandey, good morning.
Morning, Mike. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
An absolute pleasure. I look forward to this conversation every year, quite frankly, and I'm so glad it's something that's offered to the community for free once a year. Where did the idea come from initially, Dr. Pandey, to have a Healthy Heart Day in the community?
So, Mike, this is very much a personal journey for both myself and my wife, Michelle, who is actually the driving force behind it. 23 years ago, we lost my mother-in-law, Grandma Linda, who was really the heart and soul of the family. She was a nurse in Toronto, and I was in my cardiology training. My wife was a pharmacist, and she was hospitalized with a heart attack, and at that same time was found to have quite advanced diabetes. And we had a tumultuous next few years trying to keep her healthy, and unfortunately, she passed away 23 years ago. And it kind of shocked both Michelle and I that, a family where there's so many people in the healthcare profession. She herself was a nurse in one of the Toronto hospitals, and despite all of that, she had a number of risk factors that had never been assessed or optimized to try to prevent disease. And so that kind of, upset us, and it really was a traumatic experience for the family. But, then it became a real motivating, driving force for my wife, Michelle, that, if a family that has so much healthcare resources really lacked the resources to prevent and make lifestyle changes that could have had an impact on her health, what's the general public? What's the access to reliable information that people can act on? And so that's been the driving force in her memory to say, what can we do so that the public, the general public, has resources that they can act on early to prevent disease, or if they develop heart disease, have reliable ways of addressing it. Not everything is about medications. A lot of it is about making personal changes, dietary changes, exercise, lifestyle changes. So that's always been the goal, to empower people to make those personal commitments and changes that can have a very important impact on heart disease development and progression.
What are those impacts of prevention? Any preventative activities that we participate in, Dr. Pandey? What is the impact on outcomes?
You know what? That's such an excellent question. So the more we've investigated this, and the more we've learned that so much of what leads to heart disease is actually things we can control. If we can control the development of diabetes, or if we develop diabetes, control its progression, we can control blood pressure, we can control cholesterol, we can avoid smoking, we can exercise and follow appropriate diets. If we do those things, manage stress, work on appropriate sleep, 90% of heart disease, 90% of heart disease can be prevented. It's just such a powerful number. It actually meets the definition of cure. If we did what science has already told us, we could potentially cure heart disease. We haven't. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death and disability on the planet. And unfortunately, the rates of diabetes and obesity continue to go up. And that's the focus of our event this year, is to talk about, how weight gain and obesity contributes to the development of these risk factors, and what are ways that people can change their lifestyle to try to prevent both development of weight gain and obesity and the cardiac complications from it. When people think about weight gain, and people focus on what they look like, their dress size, their pant size, things like that. That's the external effects of weight gain. When you gain weight under your skin and things like that, that has very little impact on your heart. But when you start gaining weight around your belly, in medicine we call that visceral fat, it starts to get into your internal organs, and it starts to cause a lot of inflammation. And what we've learned is that inflammation from weight gain and obesity is one of the driving forces that leads to inflammation in the heart muscle, in the heart blood vessels, and that leads to the risk of heart attacks, strokes, heart failure. So it's about trying to work on what's happening on the inside, less of a focus on how we necessarily look on the external surface.
You always assemble an excellent roster of folks to deliver these important messages to us from a variety of angles. What can folks expect during tomorrow's Healthy Heart Day event?
Tomorrow we're going to have an exceptional group again. So Dr. Alice Chang is our lead-off speaker. She's an endocrinologist, a diabetic specialist from the University of Toronto, and she's been the lead author of the Canadian and a number of international guidelines on diabetes and diabetes prevention. After her, we're going to have Jacqueline Pritchard, who's an exceptional dietitian, again from Toronto, who is going to talk about very practical steps, dietary changes that we can all incorporate to help control these types of risk factors. Peter Lynn has been a recurring speaker for us. He's a family physician, but more than that, he's an exceptional educator. He has led a number of guidelines to try to teach people, physicians and healthcare providers, but also the general public, on how to take very complicated ideas, make it practical, make it understandable. And I always really enjoy Peter's discussions because he takes really complex medical concepts and makes it discusses it in ways that it's just so easy to understand and implement. And at the end, I'll be trying to put it all together, trying to discuss how all of this comes together, how the heart's impacted by all of this. But again, talking about practical steps that we can do to try to prevent disease progression. Throughout the event, we're going to have a exercise specialist, personal trainer, who's going to be, again, exercising with us, showing us simple things that we can do at home. We don't have to spend a fortune on joining a gym. If you can, join a gym. But they're very practical things we can do at home to increase our physical activity. So she's going to be teaching us some simple exercises to try to incorporate into our daily lives. So the goal is to be very practical, Mike, give people tools that they can start implementing right away. And it's a day of action. I really empower people to, let's make those changes. Let's reverse this trend that we're seeing. Heart disease continues to rise at an alarming pace around the world. But, we have the tools to prevent this, and I think it's really up to all of us to try to make those personal changes for our own health, the health of our community, our family. All of this impacts, every single person is at risk for heart disease, and it's really about, trying to make those changes as early as possible and staying motivated, because it's really a long-term journey. We all, as we get older, we'll all gain weight. It's a natural part of aging that our metabolism slows down. And in the past, we thought, we can't really do anything about that. But there are actually very effective strategies to do that. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that and hopefully giving people hope that there is, a lot of very compelling science that can guide us on practical ways to try to stay heart healthy.
I like that point that some of this can be done right in our own homes, making it so much more accessible. As you said, if you can get to the gym or afford that membership, great, but it's not absolutely necessary. And that, to me, speaks to the accessibility of not just this event, but the messaging that you're delivering. Because if it's one thing that I hear more often than any other, Dr. Pandy, it's that people tell me they don't have time because we're leading such busy lives, which probably contributes to that stress level too. But how do you respond to that concern from folks? Like, I just don't have time to do this for myself.
At time, and it's also a cost. We're living in such financially strained times with, limited resources and inflation and everything else that everybody's struggling with. And so, again, that's exactly what we're going to focus on is, the dietary changes we're talking about are things that we can try to do, replace unhealthy diets with healthier diets without breaking the bank. And again, for some people, it's, joining the gym and buying all the expensive equipment is just not within their budget. But our exercise physiologist is going to be talking about very practical things that don't require expensive equipment or memberships that you can do in between things. So you get home, you've got a few minutes before dinner or after dinner. What are things that you can do at home that doesn't require expensive equipment or membership, but that still has very important heart health benefits. So, it's about, I think, realizing that it is we have the tools to do it. We have very powerful understanding of what the impact of all of this is. And, it's about trying to stay motivated because the changes that we make, in our own personal lives obviously has huge impacts for our own health, but it translates into the community. And I know you're a big proponent of community information and community health. And it's really about, the changes that you make, I make, are things that translate to other people as well. And our families, our community, our friends. And it's really about trying to find things that keep people motivated because the changes that I hope they make, they can stick to over the long term. Everybody loses motivation. We all do. We go through stressful times. And I know there are times when I'm just on call so much and it's just so hard to stay motivated. And then afterwards, like, how do I get back to this? And for me personally, buddying up with my wife, Michelle, we often will do these things together. And if I'm losing motivation, I'm getting tired, and she'll, try to encourage me, let's keep going. Let's, change it up a little bit and then reverse, So finding people that can be positive influences for our own health and helping them. I think it's very much a family and community effort. And that's always been our goal, that this is a community initiative to try to keep our Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo region as healthy as we can and, giving people those practical tools to do so.
How can people participate in tomorrow's free event, Dr. Pandy?
So it's going to be on Rogers TV at 20 from 9 to 12 noon, but it will be streamed online at www.cambridgecardiaccare.com. So at cambridgecardiaccare.com from 9 a.m. it'll be on, and then it's archived there. So if people weren't able to watch it during that exact time, they can go back and go watch it at any time. It's set up as little podcasts as well on the website. So, if it's too much to watch at once, they have to go off and do something, they can stop, they can come back to it and see the other sections. I think each section adds value to the understanding. And for me personally, even though this is what I do for a living, there's so much that I learned from the other speakers and the practical tips that I'm going to try to incorporate as well. So I hope people find it useful. And we also do want feedback from the public. Each year we try to do it differently and try to provide a better service. So, if people have the opportunity, if they can email us their comments as to what they found helpful, not helpful, they can email us at healthyheartday@rogers.com. And, we really look forward to those comments because it helps guide our committee. This is a not-for-profit initiative to try to empower our community, and the executives of the community initiative really look forward to those comments as to what are ways that when we try to put this together for future years, we can deliver this service even more meaningfully for the community.
I'm really impressed with what you and Michelle and the rest of the team are doing for the community with this annual event, Dr. Pandy. Thank you very much for doing it, and thanks for making time for the show this morning.
Thank you so much, and thank you for helping get the word out, and I hope people enjoy the event tomorrow.
I'm certain that we will. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care.
Thanks again. Bye-bye. Dr. Shaker Pandey, cardiologist at Cambridge Memorial Hospital and the founder of the Prevent Clinic, the Cambridge Cardiac Rehab Program. Tomorrow marks the annual Healthy Heart Day, getting to the heart of obesity. This is a free virtual event you can watch on Rogers TV, Cable 20. And if you don't have access to that, you can live stream the event at cambridgecardiaccare.com. And all of the speakers will be there for you, even set into sections so you can watch a bit at a time as it gets archived, etc. But tomorrow, 9 until noon, Rogers TV, Cable 20, and online at cambridgecardiaccare.com. It is Healthy Heart Day 2026, getting to the heart of obesity. Because, as Grandma always used to say, an ounce of prevention, and we hear very clearly there from Dr. Pandey, it's worth that pound of cure, isn't it? This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what can gather. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer. Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's a picture in the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall. It's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you.
I could listen to it all day. Heather, Farwell's Force member number 92, wanted to hear Hugh Jackman and The Greatest Show from the soundtrack to the movie The Greatest Showman. I hate Hugh Jackman. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but like, so handsome, so talented, in such fine physical condition. Like, Hugh Jackman, I hate you, dude, but you're so talented. I loved that movie. I secretly love, of course, Hugh Jackman, who couldn't admire everything about him, including all of that talent. He sings, he dances, he acts, he looks good. My goodness gracious. Why did Hugh Jackman get all the things and some of the rest of us get none of the things? Anyway, it's an all request Friday as we play music of the actors who sing, and Hugh Jackman certainly falls into that category. We have arrived at that time of the day, a little later than usual. But this is the time of the day I have to remind you that not everyone is a jackwagon. I know sometimes you feel that way, but it's not the case. Not everyone is, including these students in Mississippi who were just riding the bus to school, and all of a sudden the driver of the bus lost consciousness. So what do the kids do? They get up and they carefully and slowly guide the bus to safety. They are now being hailed as heroes for keeping everyone else on that bus safe. The driver suffered an asthma attack, lost consciousness, and the students, instead of just waiting for the inevitable crash, jumped into action and saved everybody else aboard that bus. These are kids in grade 7, and they made it happen. Wonderful young people in Mississippi, reminding us today that not everyone is a jackwagon. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. The sun is shining It is now the month of May, and we are still playing hockey in Kitchener. It's a Friday. It's a game day, baby. And as we have said a number of times on our playoff broadcasts, every game is the next biggest game. Tonight's biggest game is the chance for the Kitchener Rangers to advance to the OHL final. The Rangers lead their series with the Windsor Spitfires 3-1, but you have to win 4, and that makes tonight the next biggest game for the Kitchener Rangers. As we do every Friday morning on a game day, we welcome Rangers head coach UC Ahokas to the program for the Coaches Show. UC, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling ahead of a big game like this?
No, it's good. Of course, excited like always before playoff games. And yeah, it's going to be a tough one tonight. It'll be the hardest one so far, and we'll just have to be ready to battle. But it's good it's here at the odds, so happy that we're at home again.
It will be the hardest one for sure, and everybody knows what's at stake, the chance to move on to that OHL final. How do you manage emotions for a game like this?
No, that's why we've been practicing, so we don't do it it's bigger than life. It's one of our games, and it's a big game, we know, but we have our routines and systems, how we work, and every game's really important. So when you look at it that way, we don't have to think of it. It's something bigger than life. It's a hockey game, and it's great, and we have a great opportunity, like you said in the start, still playing hockey in May. What's better?
In Game 4, your team had the most goals scored yet in this series, the biggest margin of victory, a 3-goal win. What made your team successful on Wednesday night?
I think special teams. We had those 2 power play goals, and then our penalty kill was really good. Killed 7 penalties, so today we can't be on the box that much for sure. So that was huge for us.
That was definitely a big part of the game on Wednesday night. You don't usually see it so lopsided. You had 3 power plays. The Spits had 7. But as you said, the penalty kill did such a great job. What did you see from your penalty killers on Wednesday?
Oh, they were committed. Block shots. We had good stick details, and all our clears were pretty good. That's the big part of it. And when we stick to our system, and usually good things happen.
You mentioned that it's good to have this game at home at the odd. I checked earlier. The only spot in the building is to stand if you want to come to the game tonight. What does it mean to have home ice in a game where you can move on?
Well, it's huge, and that's why the home advantage is so big. And here, like our crowd, it's the sixth player for us. So all in all, it's always like at home. It just feels different, and you get a little extra always playing at the odd.
You know that you're going to get the very best that the Windsor Spitfires have tonight as they try to stay alive and force a Game 6 back in Windsor on Sunday. What do you need to do to close out this series tonight, UC?
Like I said, it's win the net front, stay out of the box, don't take too much penalties, and all in all, play a smart game. But you have to play hard. You have to be ready to battle tonight.
Do you have any superstitions that you have to go through before the game tonight to make sure you're in the right place?
No. I'm not a superstitious guy at all.
Just another hockey game tonight, eh?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you at the rink. Thanks for being here this morning.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
UC Ahokas, the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers. Did I not tell you? I mean, I don't like being the I told you so guy. But when I went on All News Mornings with Christine Clark just before 9, I said to her, you wait. UC Ahokas is going to come on the show for the Coaches Show at 10:30, and he's just going to be ho-hum. It's just whatever. I'm playing hockey today. So what? I'm coaching a hockey game. So what? This guy... Hey, we just had a cardiologist on the show. Can we check the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers for a pulse? Anybody want to do that? Do we have the defibrillator ready just in case? Man, well, okay, I've seen him get fired up, though. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that coach when he gets fired up. Most of the times it's with somebody wearing a stripe. Sometimes it's with his players if they don't do the right things, but this is why they practice. You're just going to go out there and go through the motions that you have practiced and practiced and practiced again. And if you do that, you'll be as successful as you have been all season long. I forgot to look it up. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, did we say 2 regulation losses on home ice since December? Something. Anyway, it's a ridiculous run, a very successful run on home ice for the Kitchener Rangers through the second half of the season. They have not yet lost on home ice in the playoffs. But if you want a cautionary tale, I will point you down Highway 24 to Brantford, where the Brantford Bulldogs, the team that everybody expected to win the entire Ontario Hockey League from the beginning of this season, had the chance last night to move on to the OHL final. The Brantford Bulldogs last night were in the exact same position that the Kitchener Rangers are in tonight. Brantford up 3-1 on Barrie. They're playing on home ice, the Brantford Bulldogs are. They win. They move on to the OHL final. But they lost. Brantford led the game 2-1 after 2 periods. Barrie came back. It ended up tied 3-3. They went to overtime. The Colts won. And there will be a Game 6 in that series tomorrow night in Barrie. So if you want a cautionary tale, Kitchener, that just happened in Brantford last night to a very good Brantford team. This is a very good Kitchener team. In case you were wondering, the Windsor Spitfires are also a very good team. So the Kitchener Rangers will have to do Kitchener Ranger-like things. We've seen them do it all year long. I just mentioned that ridiculous run on home ice in the second half of the season, how good Kitchener has been throughout these playoffs. This is the next biggest game, and it's happening tonight. I am having a hard time containing my excitement as we go through this show together today. I can only imagine what these players are experiencing. But this head coach, I don't think the man has a pulse. And I say that with affection. Just looking around the Ontario Hockey League at the leaders when it comes to points in the playoffs, boy, oh boy, are those Eastern Conference teams ever getting it done. It's all Eastern Conference in the top 5. Cole Baudouin of the Barrie Colts, followed by 3 Brantford Bulldogs, Caleb Malhotra, Adam Urasek, and Jake O'Brien, and then Emil Hemming, the top 5 scorers in these playoffs. Right behind Emil Hemming is a kid by the name of Sam O'Reilly of your Kitchener Rangers. And Sam O'Reilly, with his 13 goals, is also tied with Caleb Malhotra for the most goals in these playoffs. So there's that to watch for. But more than anything, it's going to be this Rangers team coming off the most lopsided victory for any team in this series on Wednesday night. Kitchener jumped out to a 4-0 lead and went on to win the game 6-3. Couple of empty netters in there. But it really didn't matter because, no, there's just the one empty netter in there. A couple of shorthanded goals in there. Luca Romano's shorthanded goal was not into an empty net. I promise you that. Kitchener was up 4-0 going into the third. Windsor got a couple. And then Luca Romano's shorthanded breakaway goal was the dagger, if you will, on Wednesday. And the Rangers picked up that Game 4 win, leading 3-1. The Wayne Gretzky Trophy will be in the building tonight, but you don't get to celebrate winning it until you beat the Windsor Spitfires. It's going to be a fantastic game. And if you can't get one of those spots, as I said, I checked earlier, I saw standing room spots. Listen, it's a chance to win a Western Conference championship. You want to be in the barn, come join us in the barn. But if you can't, we got you covered. We've got you covered right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. It all gets started with the pregame show at 6:30, so we will build that excitement. We'll hear from the head coach of the Rangers. We'll hear from the head coach of the Spitfires. Look at starting lineups, all different things, so that you have all of the information you need, and we'll bring up that excitement. And then at 7 o'clock, just after, the puck will drop. Ooh, how about this little tidbit? I have it on good authority. There was a performer for our national anthem a few weeks back now. Braden de Belvilleray. Oh, Braden, I'm sorry, I'm booting the heck out of your last name. On Instagram, he's just Yo Boy Braden, something like that. Anyway, he played our national anthem on an electric guitar, but there was a bit of a wireless Bluetooth, something didn't go quite right. And it wasn't what Braden hoped it would be, or we hoped it would be. He's done this a couple of times at the Galt Arena Gardens for the Cambridge Redhawks. There was an electric guitar soloist in Windsor this week, and Braden's getting another shot at it tonight. Can't wait. So we're going to have some electric guitar, Jimi Hendrix style, right, to play the national anthem before the game tonight. And from puck drop until post-game, we've got you covered. Josh Piercy and I will bring you all the action, all of the post-game coverage, and then we open the phone lines, Rangers Talk, taking your calls about the game, the OHL in general. We're going to be focused on the game. Who am I kidding? There's only one place to get it all, and it's right here on 570 News Radio. Rangers, Spitfires tonight. If Kitchener wins the Western Conference for the first time since 2008. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, so close to a basketball Super League title were your KW Titans. The season ends in a heartbreaking fashion, but they've dusted themselves off, and we'll talk to the head coach of the Titans right after this. Stay with us on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio.
Somehow, some way, you'll get through this. When you think it's the end of the road, it's just because you don't know where the road's leading to. When you think that the mountain's too high and the ocean's too wide, and you'll never get through. Some way, somehow, you do.
It is an All Request Friday featuring actors who sing.
Somehow.
Can that from William Shatner actually be called a song? I think it's a fair question to ask. He's a big spoken word guy. Maria wanted to hear some William Shatner rap, which I could not find. Come heck nor high water. I'm sorry about that, Maria, but Farwell's Force member number 332 got some William Shatner, and somehow you do a little bit of spoken word from our friend Bill. We call him that because we're Canadian, eh? All right, let's talk about the KW Titans and the Basketball Super League Championship and the heartbreaking fashion with which the season for the Titans ended. Cliff Clinkscales, as you know, is the head coach of the Titans. I've also got Shanif Harani on the line with us this morning. Shanif is part of that ownership group, the Harani family, with Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment, along with the Schoolies. We'll get to Shanif in a moment, but I want to start by talking to Coach Cliff. Just 48 hours after that heartbreaking loss. Coach Cliff, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it like always.
I appreciate you like always, my friend, and this morning especially. I mean, how do you recover from one like that? 1 point away from the championship, Coach Cliff.
For me, it's going to take a while, man. That's kind of how I'm wired. I'm still playing the games over in the plays in my head. But one thing I can hang my hat on, the guys never gave in. They fought hard all the way to the last zeros on the clock. So I appreciate that truly, and also appreciate the fans for showing up, man. They showed up. They was loud. They were supporters. You had 1,200 people, so that was a blessing in itself as well.
You guys made a furious push there towards the end to get within 1 point. What was going through your mind in those final minutes, Coach Cliff?
just fight. Do anything you can to fight to the very last second. I told these guys from the beginning of the finals, we need to play every game like it's game 7, right? So you try to play every second, every minute, every quarter like it's your last, and that's all you could do at that point. We dug ourselves a hole, but we didn't give in. We fought. We stayed together, and I just try to tell them guys to keep digging deep as far as you can, and let's see what we could do in the last 4 minutes of the game.
When you look back over this season that was, what do you think about the season that the Titans had?
Overall, it was a very successful season. One thing that I'm very proud of, we had a great group of guys, high character guys, no egos, no fight. Anything we asked of them, they was willing to do. They was in the community willingly, going to these schools, talking to these kids, going to team practices. So that was big, and it helped in the long run where we started really getting support towards the end of our run. So overall, we had a great season, the best season ever in franchise history. First time ever being Windsor Express in a series. Back to the finals. That's 2 finals appearances in 3 years. And some of our players had some success again. So overall, a great season, man. They did some special things. It was a special group. And that's because the work they put in and putting their egos aside and trying to do what's best for the team and trying to win a championship for the first time in the city.
Can we expect you back on those sidelines next season?
Right now, I'm not even thinking that far. I'm still processing what happened to us. And then for me, I just got to reset my mind, my body, and get back to my family and handle some family business.
Coach Cliff, it's always been a pleasure talking to you. Congrats on a great season. I'm sorry it ended the way that it did, but thanks for being here again this morning.
Thank you, Mike, for always having us, supporting us. Thank you to all the Kitchener KW Titans fans, true supporters, and everybody. Please keep David and Kay in their prayers. They still going through some tough times, and I want to thank everybody from top to bottom, everybody in the organization. I appreciate everybody.
Appreciate you too. Enjoy your summer. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Cliff. Cliff Clinkscales, the head coach of the KW Titans, as we bring in Shanif Hirani, who's the general manager of the Kitchener Panthers. And as I mentioned, the Hirani family, along with the Schoolies, make up Waterloo Region Sports and Entertainment. That's the Titans. That's the Kitchener Panthers. We'll get to the Panthers in just a second. But Shanif, as an organization, WRSE, that 1-point loss got to sting a little bit, eh?
It does, yeah. It was definitely heartbreaking. Cliff really touched on it, but it was a special group of guys. They came together really well, and they played for each other. So it hurt to see it end like that. But we're still extremely proud of the season they put together. Best season in franchise history, and the fan support this year was something we haven't seen before. So that was great to see people coming out and supporting.
Yeah, it really was a great season right up until the very end. Since I've got you, and you also act as general manager of the Kitchener Panthers, we're into the month of May. Panthers season just around the corner. And how about those Berlin keg tappers, Shanif? What a great idea.
We are so excited, I can't tell you, for that game. It's the Oktoberfest committee we've been working with. They've been so helpful pushing this idea along. Our team has been great behind the scenes working and making this a reality. So we can't wait for July 23rd when we get to debut the uniforms.
And, of course, later this month, just a couple weeks and a bit, the new season kicks off. What can fans expect from our Kitchener Panthers as the Canadian Baseball League now pro team?
Yeah, it's going to be a totally new season, new league, fresh rebrand. It's going to be really exciting. We feel really good about the roster that we put together. And at home at Jack Couch, we're doing everything we can to make it the best experience for families, friends, or anyone to come out and enjoy some time at the ballpark. So we're excited to get things going. All of our players and coaches are coming in this weekend, and we're going to get things going and get ready for our opener on May 17th at home and May 10th in Toronto.
Looking forward to all of it, and you and I will talk again not too far down the road. Thanks for being here, Shanif.
Of Of course. Thanks, Mike.
Shanif Hirani, General Manager of the Kitchener Panthers on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Good luck, we're above when I shake hands with you. Or blow me a kiss, and that's lucky too. Now as the ladder of life has been strung, you might think a sweep's on the bottommost rung. Though I spends me time in the ashes and smoke, in this all wide world there's no happier bloke. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. Good luck, we're above when I shake hands with you.
That's from my buddy Pete, Farwell's Force, member number 295. Wanted to hear some Chim Chim Chiree by Dick Van Dyke. I'm here for it, Pete. Great taste on this All Request Friday. Actors who sing. Fridays also mean our Friday 4 Roundtable, where we invite some guests to join us on the show and talk about the big stories of the week. Those who have accepted the invitation this week, and it's always good to have them here. Marjorie Knight, who is a family outreach worker at the House of Friendship. Marjorie, good morning.
Morning, Mike.
Tom Galloway is with us, a retired regional counselor and the best darn timekeeper in the Ontario Hockey League. 56 years and counting. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
I'm just curious, before I get to the next guy, who's also a stone cold beauty. But, Tom, how are you feeling today? Because there's a big, big game tonight. How do you feel on game days like this?
Well, I'm officially neutral, right? So sure. I'm an off-ice official. So, I don't think the Rangers are going to suffer the same fate tonight as the Brantford Bulldogs did last.
Okay, fair enough. I'm officially neutral too, but go Rangers. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the referees believe so too. That's what they tell me in the dressing room all the time.
I don't want to hear about it, Galloway. I don't want to hear one thing about that. The other beauty that I referenced a moment ago, and a stone cold beauty he is, Carl Kiefer, former Region of Waterloo councillor, former City of Cambridge councillor, and who was it? You weren't a hawk back. You were a hawk back in the day, weren't you, Carl?
Oh, I go back to the Preston Legion Raiders.
Okay,
Mike.
The Preston Legion. I knew you were on the ice somewhere in that city of Cambridge. I should have known Preston, of course. I couldn't come up with the name, though. The Preston Legion Raiders. All right, so Carl Kiefer, Marjorie Knight, Tom Galloway.
Referee. He was a referee. He was a referee in the OHA.
Yeah.
Blind as a bat.
I was there, too.
We hockey guys, you stick around long enough and these connections continue for sure. All right, let's dive into the stories of the week. And one of them is the 1-year anniversary just passed of Prime Minister Mark Carney and our Liberal government, which, oh, by the way, is suddenly a majority. Marjorie, we're going to let you play teacher first here this morning. If you're going to give the grade to the Carney Liberals, what grade are you giving and why?
Oh, maybe a 47.5.
That's a big fat fail. Out of 50.
That's my grade. I think that he came in under difficult circumstances. I think that he has had a difficult go of things with the U.S. and their circus that happens down there. I think he has had some good moments with that. And I think that he has tried his best to deal with a difficult situation with the U.S. Right now, it just seems that there are so many distractions going on in government. All this crossing of floors and actively, I guess, recruiting the enemies. to to cross the floor and to make a majority so that they can do whatever they need to do. I mean, I get it, I understand it, but it's things that make me go, what is going on under there? I am not thrilled about all the policy making. I'm still looking for better policies around housing. We have a serious, serious Canada-wide issue with homelessness, and I don't see the movement and the action on it. I think I'm seeing us moving back to the trend of cutting social spending, cutting the safety net, and focusing on corporate and big entities. And again, we're just going right back to where we started. And for that, I give that kind of a grade because I need to see more commitment to what is actually happening on the ground to people, to communities like ours, where we need more help, but we're not getting it.
Tom, you asked if that was a 47.5 out of 50. It's not. We're getting a solid F over there from teacher Marjorie Knight. What do you make of Mark Carney's first year?
Well, I'm a little more simplistic. I'm going to give him an A as opposed to a number. He adopted a very difficult situation, particularly with the circumstances south of the border, and I think he's done a really admirable job, particularly in that respect. In dealing with the economy, the fallout from the matters south of the border, and his speech in Davos is been acclaimed by just about everybody on every end of the continuum. The second time only that someone got a standing ovation at that particular summit. And now he's sought after around the world to consult with leaders from other countries. And that certainly puts Canada in good stead with all the different economic agreements that he has been able to consummate with different countries and different regions of the world under very difficult world economic circumstances. Domestically, the large infrastructure projects that are moving forward, the bringing together of the premiers into a much more cooperative setting than they have been in the past, and having some positive results in terms of breaking down interprovincial trade barriers and some of our own internal domestic economic issues. So I think he's done a great job. In terms of the one thing that people do take exception to, and it rankles me too, in terms of the floor crossing, the floor crossings, I'm not sure that should be allowed, but of course it is, and it does happen, and other governments have attempted that as well. I think the only silver lining in that is that now we won't have an election in the next few months, which we might otherwise have had. Because of his popularity, he would have been really tempted to go to the polls early and get himself a majority through that process, which maybe is the way he should do it. But I don't think the country needs an election in the next few months.
Carl Kiefer.
Well, before I give him a grade, I'm going to prelude it by saying that he really hasn't had much time. I mean, in office as of yet, but. So far, I'm going to give him an A too, and as usual, Tom always steals my thunder with everything he said. But I'm going to tell you right now, there was a reason why Stephen Harper picked Mr. Carney to be the governor of the Bank of Canada. He he has that kind of background and experience in economics, even though Mr. Poilievre doesn't think so. But I would say that. He's well on his way to trying to, what shall we say, get a sustainability back into Canada in terms of the economy and things like that. And as Tom mentioned, the Davos speech, when he spoke there, I mean, he got world attention on that, and he got world agreement with the uncertainty of the world being in turmoil. Our friend, the south of us here in the United States, kind of very difficult, as we all know, to deal with. And I think Mr. Carney's done an admirable job so far. I think he mentioned the fact that maybe, no trade deal is better than a trade deal with what's going on there right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what can be done with Mr. Carney and the Liberals. He, like I said, I think he deserves an A at this point. But we shall see down the road, Michael.
And he's got some more runway now with that majority in Parliament as well.
And I got to tell you, I gave him a D, not a F.
Oh, so I thought anything under a 50 was an F. That's what I was afraid of in high school. Okay.
No,
all
it's
right.
not an F. It's a D. He has room to improve.
Needs improvement. I got
we
you.
all do. We all do.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Amen to that. Marjorie Knight, Carl Kiefer, Tom Galloway with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We'll take a break. When we come back, it was a verdict in a sexual assault trial that rocked the community. We'll get the perspective of our guests on the Jeffrey Sloka case coming up. This is the Mike Farwell Show and your Friday 4 Roundtable on 570 News Radio.
Don't give up on us, baby. Don't make that wrong seem right. The future isn't just one night. It's written in the moonlight, painted on the stars. We can't change ours. Don't give up on us, baby. We're still worth one.
That is David Soul. You might remember him better from the TV show Starsky and Hutch, but he also embarked on a music career, and it was the song and the artist that started it all. We played that to start our show one day a week and a bit ago, and I thought that would be a good theme for an All Request Friday. Actors who sing. Deb the Blue Noser, Farwell's Force member number 290, wanted to hear Don't Give Up on Us, Baby by David Soul on this All Request Friday. Our Friday 4 Roundtable this morning has Tom Galloway with us, Carl Kiefer, and Marjorie Knight. It was a verdict that really brought a strong reaction from the community. Jeffrey Sloka, a former neurologist, accused in 48 separate instances of sexual assault of patients, acquitted on all charges last Friday. Tom, I'll start with you on this one and your reaction to what we learned from court.
Well, I think like a lot of people, and certainly people I've talked to, and even people who are phoning me, if you can believe it, there was a lot of shock associated with this particular verdict. And while I understand the double jeopardy principle, and I understand that there are different standards for professional misconduct versus criminal misconduct or sexual assault, it's really, really difficult to understand how all 48 complainants or plaintiffs were just summarily dismissed as if their testimony could not be trusted at all, and the expert witness. And that even the police were criticized for suggesting to some of the women that there was strength in numbers. Well, of course there's strength in numbers. And when you're dealing as a police officer with a very reluctant woman who might feel embarrassed about this particular situation and knows from past history of our criminal justice system that it's not very favorable towards women in these circumstances, yeah, you might have to try to convince them that there's strength in numbers. I certainly didn't see anything wrong in the police using that particular strategy under these circumstances. It really concerns me at a variety of levels. Certainly, this took a long period of time. All these women had to wait years and years for this particular verdict, which of course wasn't at all what they were expecting. And what does it tell us in our insofar as our criminal justice system is concerned? It just supports the notion that women who are in these situations, not just with doctors, but in other circumstances like the hockey players in London, They just are typically not believed and can't seem to meet the standard, or the Crown can't seem to meet the standard for the judge to come down with a verdict that would really show that we're supporting these people when this kind of thing happens. So it was really disappointing. And there's a lot of regret and remorse in our community. I got a letter from a local nonprofit social agency this week, part of their newsletter, who are really lamenting this particular decision.
Yeah, it certainly is spreading across the community. Very good point there. Carl Kiefer, your thoughts?
Well, I was surprised and I couldn't believe that all 48 charges would be dropped. That's unreal, but I'm not a judge or a lawyer, and I don't know, like I question the, I think the judge said that he found that all the medical all the medical purposes were of all reality, that the examinations that he had to do were fit for the times or whatever. I mean, I find that really hard to believe. 48, Mike. So I'm with Tom here. I mean, a little bit of a shock about the whole thing, and I feel for the women that were in these situations, the victims, I guess you would call them, and but again, I don't know where this judge, he says he went through this thing, top to bottom, and came out with the explanations that he did. But boy, I find it hard to believe that all 48 of those situations were not, there was no charges. It's just unreal.
I think it speaks directly to the complexities of the system, and a ruling that's more than 1,000 pages in length. There was great detail provided here. Marjorie Knight, what do you think?
I'm absolutely horrified, and I'm totally disgusted with the whole thing. If you have 48 women, and actually it's more than 48 women because there were more than 70 complaints, but 48 women cases were brought forward. There was an expert, there was a medical expert, there was a neurologist who stood up on that docket and spoke and said that there was no circumstances under which that kind of examination was necessary in a neurological exam. But how long it took to even bring this man to justice, how long it took for anybody to even take the complaints seriously. Years of complaints before it was even dealt with by the medical board. Up to a couple years ago, he was still practicing. And oh yes, he had to have a nurse in there with him when somebody came to see him, but he was still practicing, knowing what was coming up, what complaints were, what the status of everything was. They still allowed him to practice, but just have a nurse in there just in case. That alone speaks volumes as to how seriously these things are taken. Our court, our society demeans women. They do not take seriously the cases of sexual assault when it comes to women. Women are told from you're little, don't let anybody touch you. Don't wear this, do that. Carry your keys like this, cover your drink, protect yourself, go in packs, go into the bathroom, go in a group. Whatever you do, protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. And we have to do this because nothing happens. Men get to take the pass and walk on by and continue with their lives. When somebody's sexually assaulted, it lives in you for the rest of your life. It's like walking murder. You have to live with that for the rest of your life. And men, they get a pass, they get to walk away. But when a judge sits up there and tells 48 women that what they experienced was just fine and okay, and doesn't rate any form of censure or punishment, I have a big, big problem. I already have a problem that if by chance, God help us, if somebody actually gets prosecuted, how much time do they get in jail? People who steal get more time in jail than those who assault women and children. We have a very cockeyed version of justice when it comes to women, and especially around sexual assault. And this just shows it in live and direct how bad the situation is.
I'm glad you're with us.
I cannot see a way to bring anything good about this.
I'm glad you're able to bring that perspective to our show today. Marjorie Knight, Tom Galloway, and Carl Kiefer with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable. It's the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. With us around the virtual table this morning for our Friday 4, Carl Kiefer, who's a former counselor with both the region and the city of Cambridge. Marjorie Knight is here, a family outreach worker at the House of Friendship, and Tom Galloway, who's a retired regional counselor. We know that cell phones have been banned in classrooms in schools around Ontario, but the education minister is now signaling that perhaps he wants to go a step further, as a number of provinces talk about social media bans for youth as well. Paul Calandra in Ontario says, you know what we might be doing is banning cell phones on school property, period. Carl, I'll start with you on this one. Do you think this is a reasonable approach?
Well, that's the question. Is it reasonable? And I think it is, Mike. I think there's enough evidence show out there now that shows that clear evidence that phones are a problem. And I mean, they're also a useful tool, as is the social media aspect of this whole thing. I mean, you know, social media can be good, but it can also be very, very bad. You know, misinformation, for instance, and you know, and now you add to that, Mike, you got the AI thing going. And but kids, I mean, I have grandkids, and I know they're on their phones far, far too much. And I think you know, they're supposed to be not using their phones when they're in school, but as you know, kids are kids, and they'll tend to you know, cheat a little bit, I think is the word I'm going to use. But no, I think it's worthwhile looking into and possibly doing, because you know, our young people are I think spending far, far too much time on the phones.
Marjorie, what do you make of the idea of forget just the classroom? You step on school property, that phone doesn't come with you.
I don't think it's a realistic thing. Kids have their phones, and in some cases, parents need their children to have their phones. Sometimes for medical, sometimes for security, sometimes because when they leave school, X, Y, and Z. If they don't bring their phone to school at all, that means from the time they leave home till they get back home, they will not have access to a phone, a cell phone. Is that reasonable? Not in all cases. Cell phones are a total distraction in the class. We understand that. We see that. It's not just the kids who spend too much time on their phones. And any adult who wants to say they're not spending too much time on their phones, listen, I have a bridge to sell you. So it's, you know, it's a real life problem for everybody and how much time we spend on our phones. And it is a big distraction. However, I've watched some teachers, man, and they use that phone in the class with the students. They engage them in different ways of using the phone, of doing things. Maybe you're collecting all the phones at the front of the class and they stay there for the duration of the class. There's so many different things you can do, but to say that you can't have them on school property at all, I think is probably a little step too far, because there are other reasons for having phones. There are diabetics who are monitoring things. There are parents who need to monitor their children, various other things, security. And, we're not the United States, but as a parent, we are all a little antsy when we send our children to school these days. So we have to find a way to deal with the distraction of phones and how much time our children spend on phones. But banning them off totally off school properties, I don't think that's going to achieve what we think it's going to achieve.
Your point about how all of us are probably spending too much time on our phones really resonates with me. And that's why I thought, maybe we are onto something here, because if we begin to cut that cord younger, then you might not, because I know teachers will sometimes sit there, if it's movie time or whatever, film time in the classroom, they might be on their phone anyway. I'm not sure. But that's what occurred to me, that maybe this is an opportunity to really start breaking that bad habit that we all seem to have. Tom Galloway, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is a really thorny issue. I think I come down kind of on Marjorie's side of this. I have a daughter who's a high school teacher, and I talked to her about it in anticipation of today. And she's a high school teacher. So the key issue for her is enforcement. The teachers can't necessarily enforce it. So you can say that they're banned in the classroom, or now you could go further and say they're banned on school property. But who's going to enforce it? Are you going to subject every student to a backpack search at the beginning of each day? How are you going to know that they have or don't have a phone on themselves? And then go to the washroom and use it if they need to. It's the enforcement piece that becomes the big issue for her. She admits, of course, that it is a huge distraction. There are students, and of course, there's even adults or children of all ages who are addicted to their phones. Gaming has become an addiction. To get to that next level, to do whatever in that game. And some people just find every opportunity, including during class or in the school somewhere. And indeed, some parents now have to ban their child from having their cell phone in their bedroom because they will be on it all night long, gaming. So this is a much bigger issue than just the school. And it really begs the question, where's the parents' role in this? There are families that don't have strong leadership at the parental level as well. So it is a big societal issue. Social media, the good, social media, the bad, as Carl indicated. This is a big, major issue, and now AI is getting into the middle of it and taking it to a whole different level as how society is going to be dealing with this problem. It's just not about phones in the classroom.
It's a really good point. It does go much further than that, and maybe the teacher gets to play the bad parent or the strict parent in this regard. But you make an excellent point. Tom Galloway, Carl Kiefer, and Marjorie Knight with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. Both Tom and Carl have extensive experience in municipal politics. Marjorie not only follows it closely, but has run provincially in the past. The silly season, if I may call it that, is officially underway as of today. Anyone wishing to put their name forward for a spot on a municipal council or a school board can do so. And boy, it didn't take Scott Hamilton long, did it? A current councillor in Cambridge has announced his candidacy for mayor. So if Mayor Liggett decides to seek a second term, there will be experience on both names on that ballot. And who else will come forward? It's only May the 1st. Candidates have lots of time. Let's talk about what we need in this region as people consider their municipal election options. That's coming up on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning with Tom Galloway, Carl Kiefer, and Marjorie Knight on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio. Okay, so here's what I think I know when it comes to the municipal election. Well, what I know for sure is that it happens on October the 26th, and I really, really hope that you're going to get out there and exercise your franchise, so to speak. Cast a ballot, participate in this municipal election. I also know that if you wish to be considered as a candidate in this year's municipal election, October the 26th, we vote. Today is the day you can start putting your name forward. Scott Hamilton has already done that in Cambridge. Not to run again for his Ward 7 seat. Nope. Scott Hamilton would like to be the mayor of Cambridge. So that is already out today. I haven't seen any other names come forward yet today, but we know they will. We do know that Councillor Chris Wilkinson in Wilmot has declared his interest in running for mayor of Wilmot Township. There's an incumbent, Natasha Salin, in there. And I think there's only two so far that have said they're not running again. Those are councillors Jen Vasic and Royce Bodley in Waterloo. So 2 open seats there. That's what I think I know so far. But what I would love to learn from our guests on the roundtable this morning, Marjorie Knight, Tom Galloway, and Carl Kiefer, is what does this region need more or less of as we head towards the October 26th election? Marjorie, I'll start with you. What are you hoping for during this period that candidates start to come forward?
I'm hoping for some significant changes in Cambridge. That's what I'm hoping for. I am hoping that people will really give consideration to running. I think we need change. I think we need people with some vision. I think we need people with some lived experience. I think we need people who hold a community view to run for office. In Cambridge and across the region, we're going to need people who are very strong. We are in a strange season politically. We are being told that our regional chair may end up being an appointee from Doug Ford's political henchmen. And, this might not bode well for us. One thing is certain, we need to have a very good idea of what's needed. We need to plan. We have a situation with housing. We have a situation with water. How did we end up there? We have a situation where we have a land grab going on and decisions are being made in the names of economy that impact us greatly. We have a vibrant agricultural sector. How do we protect that? How do we protect our green space? These are issues that are very, very important to our region. And we need people who have some vision, moral fortitude, and are ready to work, because it's going to be an uphill battle. And if we do have an appointed regional chair with strong mayor powers, it's going to be all uphill. So we really, really need a regional focus. And we need to have a good balance of counselors. And especially we need some people with lived experience who understands on the ground what is happening. We need to marry all of those together in order to get ahead in what we need to get ahead in this region.
Tom, you've got a great deal of experience in this regard. What do you think we could use more or less of in the region this year?
Well, I think that the first thing that we need more of are people that are going to put their names forward for the right reasons, and that is to provide community service. All too often, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody particularly who's currently elected, but often there are people who simply put their name on the ballot for resume building, and I've actually had people admit that. A real estate agent once who said, I just put my name on the ballot so I could put signs up all over the city. And he was quite honest about that. So we don't need people like that who are just trying to resume build or build a profile for themselves for their own career purposes or whatever. What we need are people who are going to do it for the right reasons for community service. It's a form of community service. And that's what it's about, and that has to be your primary focus. What we need less of, well, I'm going to be quite pointed here. Two things that we need less of. We need less of an appointed regional chair. We don't need that. If I'm thinking of running for regional council as a ward, or rather at-large councillor, I have to think twice, because how effective am I going to be? Because I'm going to be overruled by an unelected political hack. What's my encouragement to leave my career or to kind of change my whole life to serve at least at the regional council level as an at large? That is really a problem. The other thing that we need less of, and this is going to be a little different, is we need fewer. In fact, we need no members of the Catholic School Board to be supported by Rebel News and the alt-right group that has taken over the Catholic School Board and harassed some of their non-colleagues in that movement. We need those people routed out of office.
Just real quick, Tom, I love the pointed nature of those comments as well. On the appointed regional chair, which we all agree is a disservice to democracy, but initially, when our region was formed, was Ken Sealing not appointed originally before it became an elected position?
No, there were two appointees beforehand, Gray and who the other one, Carl. Anyway, two were, when the region was originally formed, the first two regional chairs were appointed.
Okay.
Ken was elected as regional chair by his peers on regional council.
So it wasn't a public, like I didn't get the chance.
Not.
Okay.
It was only the year 2000 when the regional chair became a publicly elected position.
Okay. Thanks for that reminder, because I had that in the back of my mind and I knew the two of you would be able to help. Okay. Carl, over to you on, it's a big year. You're not putting your name for, wait, are you?
Oh, no,
okay.
no. There's been a few requests, but I've turned them down. No, I think one of the things, let me just say, I take my hat off, not this one, but I take my hat off to anybody that puts their name forward and wants to endeavor into this adventure, we'll call it. I think what we need is more younger people coming out to put their names in and get involved. It's been historically that there's been a lot of more on the elderly, not to be age discriminatory, but there's been more older people than younger people, and I think we need more younger people. But the other thing is, Mike, is that we need quality leadership. So, to touch on what Tom said there, the kind of people to get involved for the right reasons. I can remember back in my early days when I was first getting into the ring in Cambridge, that I did it because I thought we wanted to preserve the community, have a small small town atmosphere, keep that going. Same place that I grew up, played hockey in, baseball in summer, hockey in the winter. But things evolve and things change, and historically now we're at a point in the region where maybe we one of the things we should be looking at is less politicians instead of the existing amount. I know that leads to the to the thing that's one of your favorite subjects, and that's amalgamation. But the thing is, and I was a proponent and always have been of, like Cambridge has to be Cambridge, and not part of but we've been interwoven in Cambridge into the region for so long that it's unrealistic to say Cambridge could stand alone and go it alone. That to me, that's ridiculous. But how this could be accomplished, I'm not sure how it could be, but I do take my hat off, as I said, to people that want to put their name forward, and we need more quality people out there in the councils or council, whatever it is in the future. I mean, take for example, the LRT, one of Tom's favorite subjects. Onward to Cambridge, but we don't have it yet. I go back to the day where we were, and I was sitting on the committee as well. We were talking about, okay, we're going to build it in KW first, and then we don't have the case for it to make it to Cambridge right now, but we will down the road. Well, if you're all one unit, under the amalgamation thing, guess what? That doesn't become a question. It's done automatically, and Cambridge would benefit from that situation. But we do need to be, to touch on Marjorie's, and I agree with everything she said. We do need to have change, and I'm looking forward to some change, in particular in Cambridge.
All right. We got to run to get to the news update. We are fresh out of time. Carl Kiefer, Marjorie Knight, Tom Galloway, thank you all for sharing some of your time with us this morning. And Tom, I'll see you tonight at the Memorial Auditorium.
And Mike, go Cambridge Redhawks.
Go Redhawks, go. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the weekend.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.
Free Phones Friday coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
Jump in my car. I wanna take you home. Come on and jump in my car. It's too far to walk on your own. No, thank you, sir. Oh, come on, I'm a trustworthy guy. No, thank you, sir. Oh, little girl, I wouldn't tell you no lie. I know you're gay. How can you say that we've only just met? You don't know the same. Ooh, she's got me there, but I'll get her yet. I got you there. No, you didn't. I was catching my breath, and look, it's starting to rain, and baby, you'll catch your death.
Do my ears detect auto-tune again? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being my usual cynical self. But speaking of autos, jump in my car. That would be the Hoff, David Hasselhoff, by request from Mike, Farwell's Force member number 10, on this All Request Friday. Actors who sing, or perhaps in the case of the Hoff, should not have sung. But didn't he have like some massive music career in Germany? The Germans loved the Hoff. Farwell, not so much, if I can refer to myself in the third person like that. It is that time of day where we open up the phone lines real wide and invite you into the conversation. The minute we begin the show every day, our phone lines open. You are always invited to participate, but we make extra time at the end of every show so that you can weigh in on the issues of the day. Maybe you didn't get to have your say earlier, or you want to tell us something that you think should be the issue of the day. It's our final hour together for the week. It is Free Phones Friday, and I'll get right to those phones because Jersey Bill is here and he's going to start us off. Good afternoon, Billy.
Hey, and thank you for correcting me on my pattern. Yes, so the pattern now holds, and if they win tonight, then in the next series, if they just lose the second game and go 4-1 against Brampton or Barrie, that would be great too. Of course, I guess if it's not Brampton, I mean Brantford. Here I am making a mistake again. But Brantford would almost be like a home game for you guys, I guess.
I would not be upset if we just had to take a 40-minute drive down Highway 24 to play in the next series, if we make it to the next series. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. Well, and it looks good right now, and the other series seems to be having the best team in the league supposedly is having its problem putting away that Barrie team. So, but there's another thing. Talking about patterns, I wish there's one pattern that the administration of Washington would pick up, and that is that you cannot win a war just by bombing people from the air and maybe controlling the sea lanes or thinking that you have, because that's been tried before. This is so reminiscent of the Battle of Britain, where the Germans thought they could bring England to its knees just by bombing them into oblivion. It didn't work, and if all we did was bomb the Germans and we didn't have the ground forces, that wouldn't have worked either. Bombing in Vietnam did not work. If anything, it just extended the war. It's just crazy. They don't recognize that pattern, and they're full of themselves. And I think they're on the road to their own ruin, because they not only it's well said that Trump doesn't read a book, but it seems that Hegseth doesn't understand how history actually works and what his limitations are.
Billy, appreciate the call, and your eyes always on Washington, giving us a perspective we don't always have. If you're wondering about Billy's patterns, he had called earlier this week and talked about the Rangers in round number 1 losing 0 games. In round number 2, they lost game 4 of their series. In this round, they have lost game number 3 of their series. And so he hopes that just continues on and we can lose game number 2 in the next round and lose no other games, which I, of course, would be fine with. But I'm trying very hard to not get too far ahead, because last night, the Brantford Bulldogs were on home ice. They had the 3-1 series lead, the chance to close out their series, and they failed to do so. The Barrie Colts winning last night in overtime, so that Eastern Conference final will have a Game 6. I would dearly love to avoid a Game 6. I don't have anything against Windsor, the team, or the city, but why not finish it off on home ice? Can you imagine the hockey party we will have tonight if the Kitchener Rangers can win the Western Conference Championship for the first time since 2008? I have been excited since yesterday, and I'm growing more excited as the day goes on. Tonight, if you can't make it to the rink, join us for pregame coverage starting at 6:30. Grant is with us on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Grant.
Yeah, hello. I was just going to say hello, Grant.
You can say that if you want to.
And I'm going to touch on quick 4 things. It's nice to see Reed back after blocking that shot with his face. Way to go, buddy. Way to come back. And I see us winning 5-3. And that hit that we got in the last game in Windsor, I think it was in the second period, where they called it a boarding, but it looked like our player hit the Windsor player with his chest. It didn't look like, to me, a boarding call. Get out of here. Yeah, and I'd like to see us not lay back like they did in the third period. They kind of held on to their lead.
Well, it was a 4-0 lead at the time, in fairness. But I think the Rangers have learned their lesson when it comes to sitting back. I think they did that a little bit, were on their heels a little bit in Sault Ste. Marie when they lost their one game in that series. So we shall see. The only boarding penalty I remember from Wednesday night, I'm pretty sure went to the Windsor Spitfires. I remember Cameron Reed laying a huge body check. I thought it was in the third period, but either way, there was not a penalty assessed on the play that I recall. I mean, sometimes I forget. What did I have for breakfast today? Oh yeah, yogurt and fruit. I had my old man's breakfast, but I don't recall Cameron Reed getting a penalty. I do recall him laying a big body check and doing whatever it takes to keep pucks away from the goal. And he did leave the game for a minute on Wednesday night, but came right back because that's what Cameron Reed does. Anyway, did I mention there's a big game tonight? Holy, is there a big game tonight? Kyle, you're next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Let's go Rangers! Let's go Rangers! I'm ready. Let's go Rangers. I'll be at the game tonight, Mike. I cannot wait. I am on the bandwagon. I'm not going to predict a score. I'm not doing anything. Let's go, Rangers! Woo! I'm ready to party after the game if it becomes that. I got my beer ready. I got everything ready at home so I can come home and relax and enjoy. So let's go, Rangers! Woo! Thanks, Mike!
Thanks, Kyle. You're ready to party after the game by going home and relaxing? Listen, let's just make the whole game a party, okay? Let's, as soon as we get in the building tonight, the murmur will build to a crescendo, and all of a sudden there will be a hum, a loud hum, maybe even a dull roar in the building throughout the game tonight. And when the Rangers score, the roof will start to come loose. And when they score again, it will be looser. And as time winds down, if the Rangers are in the right place, let's just blow the lid right off that grand old dame on East Avenue. Let's go. Big game tonight. Stephen, good afternoon. Free Phones Friday for you.
Hey, hello, my friend. How are you?
Well, I don't usually hear from you at this time of the day. Hello.
Well, it's kind of lunchtime, so I'm just sitting out here enjoying the sunshine and figure maybe I'll give her a whirl now because I think tonight the phone lines will be pretty darn busy, right? Hopefully.
I hope so. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you want to close out the series, no doubt. Why go another game? And I think definitely Mr. O'Reilly and Mr. Sam Woolley would enjoy getting the Bobby Orr trophy on the same ice they did last year.
Oh, why do you got to remind us?
Well,
you remember how long those muckety mucks hung around and just partied with that trophy on our ice?
Well, that's what I was thinking last year. They should have them do that first. Get it over with, off the ice, and let the team, skate around and, salute their fans.
Yeah.
Not the other way around, right? So, anyhow, yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait. Hopefully it should be a great game, and definitely we can all celebrate. So, okay, my friend, have a great afternoon. I know we got other callers, so take care, and we'll talk to you again.
All right, Stephen, thanks very much. Stephen is a regular caller on Rangers Talk, not as often a caller on this show, but always good to hear from him. And you are welcome to participate in this show this afternoon or in Rangers Talk tonight, which is the way we always finish home games for the Kitchener Rangers. Josh Piercy and I stick around, take your calls. And it's going to be a late night. I should tell my beloved to put on coffee before she goes to bed, because by the time I get home, look out. Post-game press conferences, parties, phone calls. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Got to win the game first. You win, then we party. Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. I kind of forgot about this one, so thank you to Sandy, Farwell's Force member number 130, and Ron, Farwell's Force member number 32. Wanted to hear some Bruce Willis and Respect Yourself on the All Request Friday Actors Who Sing edition. That definitely qualifies. Bruce Willis, much better known as an actor. But for a minute, he thought he was a singer. And so you get to hear some of that on this All Request Friday. Free Phones Friday is the way we spend our final hour together every week. Open phone lines to hear from you one final time before we take the weekend off. Joe is with us. Good afternoon, Joe.
Afternoon, Mike. Yeah, go Rangers, obviously. I'm torn that I can't be at the game. I just beside myself. But anyway, yeah, up here, I can't believe there's like empty grocery shelves, and this is like a real problem. It's in Kitchener too. Like people I've talked to, there's empty spots on the grocery shelves, and it's because of the transportation costs and the gasoline, the gas to put in the planes. It's ridiculous. So the only way this is ever going to change is if the Americans suffer as much as we are, or more. And that's the only way they're ever going to get rid of Trump, because they voted for that idiot. Now they have to suffer bad enough, because they're just not suffering bad enough yet, Mike. They have to suffer bad enough for it to affect real change. So let's just hope. But man, go out, get your groceries, go get some produce, potatoes. Try and find some potatoes. It's crazy. Anyway, Mike, that's my little rant to end the week. And go Rangers!
Thanks, Joe. Good to hear from you. When Joe says up there, he means in the port, as he calls it, Port Elgin, beautiful Bruce County, on the shores of Lake Huron, and those empty spaces on the grocery store shelves. Listen, I made light of it to some degree at the beginning of the show today when I talked about the $189.9 price per liter posted on the gas station that I passed on my way to work this morning. And quite frankly, I am over it. I am over all of it. Strait of Hormuz this, war in the Middle East that, oil futures this. Stop it. Like, I feel very put upon here. I feel beat up by this. I feel like somebody's making a whole lot of money and I'm losing a whole lot of money because it is bloody expensive out there. We talked with our Friday 4 roundtable today about 1 year under Prime Minister Carney in this country. A little more than a year now, but how did our panel feel that he was doing? And one of the things that did not come up, but has come up in some recent polling, and I'm behind you here, is affordability. I just feel as though there's a disconnect. And I'm feeling this disconnect, frankly, at all levels of government. I really am. The disconnect between the people we elect and them actually understanding who we are and what we are going through. I am very lucky. We are very lucky in the Farwell household to have two relatively stable full-time incomes. But it sucks out there when it comes to cost. The Globe and Mail today had a front section folio on the connection between the cost of living and happiness. And I think we can draw a pretty straight line between those two things, can't we? If you've got young people who are struggling under the weight of housing costs and other costs, how do you expect them to be smiling all the time when they are stressed out, when they're living paycheck to paycheck? Structurally, we have issues that need to be addressed. I know that nobody can wave a magic wand, but I'm looking hard. I really am. I'm looking as hard as I can for the person or the government that is actually taking any bit of meaningful action on this. What did we get? The excise tax break from gasoline? How's that working out for you at $1.90 a liter today? Come on with your coming on. Again, I know you can't just wave a magic wand, but I see a lot of things happening, a lot of actions being taken, a lot of negotiations and deals trying to be made, and I don't see any of it impacting the price I pay for gas, the price I pay for groceries, the price I pay for anything. It's getting pretty tiring out there. Anyway, that's just where I'm at. Joe planted that seed and got me onto a bit of a rant. I hope, I really hope that at some point, affordability will become the issue that people are not just talking about, but meaningfully trying to address. Tom is next on Free Phones. Good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, it's been a while. I'm good. How are you?
Jump back. Golf course is open, and the course is coming around, but we need some warmer weather and don't need any more rain for a while. With regards to your just latest rant there, Mike, I don't know this thing about affordability because it becomes affordability for whom? There seems to be degrees of affordability, and unfortunately, I think it's been that way for a long, long time. My other point here, you're talking about how many refineries do we have in Canada? And with the refineries we have in Canada, can we not supply enough oil or gas to run this country without having to sell our oil, ship it down to Texas or to Chicago somewhere, and have it come back and pay double the price for it. Because this is where the issue is. We sell low, but we buy high back. We do the same thing with our hydro and that. And then to your present caller, yeah, the only way the states is going to understand things, people said they need to pay a little bit more than they're paying for a lot of materials now. So I think a lot of us are at the positions that, if you comes a long weekend and gas prices hit a $2 mark, no one's going to go away for the long weekend. If you can't afford gas to drive to work, maybe that's what they get a lot of people who don't show up that day for work because they can't afford gas. Maybe that's the point it's going to start getting across here, because it don't matter what you drop, the oil companies are going to keep increasing. And it doesn't make any sense that the gas that's in those holding tanks is the same gas that was in there probably the last time they got filled, but it keeps going up. And that doesn't make any sense. How can they keep charging gas? They haven't refilled the tank yet. So go Rangers, go. Have a great weekend, Mike. Take care.
Thanks, Tom. This is my point where I'm just rolling my eyes on Strait of Hormuz this and war in the Middle East that, and all of this other nonsense. I know that the gasoline that you're selling for $1.90 today is the same gasoline that was in that holding tank yesterday at less than $1.90. But either way, sure, maybe Americans have to start feeling the pinch more. And of course, affordability to me is probably different than affordability or unaffordability to you. But I feel as though I'm kind of in that mushy middle here in this beautiful community of ours. I feel as though we are together feeling those same pinches of unaffordability. And some of the things that you would like to do, you're not doing because, damn, is it expensive out there these days. I ain't that rich. Trust me on that one. Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. To be a hero tonight. Oh, I'm talking to you, you Kitchener Rangers over there. Who wants to be a hero? Bette Midler and Wind Beneath My Wings on this All Request Friday. I got to stop. I really need to dial it back about 20%, don't I? These young men have enough pressure on them. And I know I've been told before, pressure is a privilege. But I don't know how they're keeping their emotions in check today while I'm pretty much jumping out of my skin here on the show. I cannot wait for Puck Drop tonight. Big game at the Memorial Auditorium. Wind Beneath My Wings from the soundtrack of the movie Beaches. Bette Midler, an actor who sings by request from Frank on this All Request Friday. Fridays also mean free phones between noon and 1. Not that we're giving away free cell phones, but that we open up our phone lines freely to you and allow you to have your say on the issues of the day. Or if you want to start a conversation all on your own, hey, we are absolutely here for that as well. It's our final hour together to interact this week on the most interactive radio program anywhere in this region. And Tammy is with us on Free Phones. Good afternoon, Tammy.
Rangers, Mike.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
I hope they win tonight.
So do I.
Yes.
What are we going to do if they don't win, Tammy? Then what?
Well, I guess they could play golf or they dig some more tulips in the front yard.
Hang on. You know it's only game 5, right? If they don't win, they get to play again on Sunday. Come on with your coming on there, Tammy.
I'm just teasing you, Mike.
All right. What time, Tammy, are you going to line up for that game tonight?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
I'll be listening.
All right, Tammy, thank you very much. You can tune in 30 minutes earlier if you want, because there's only one place that you get a 30-minute pregame show brought to you by our good friends, Gord Harris and the team at Harris Law. And that's right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. If you want to skip it, that's fine, but we're going to build some anticipation for the game tonight. And then puck drop just after 7, after we get Braden back out near center ice with his electric guitar, going to play the national anthem for us, kind of like Jimi Hendrix did with the Star Spangled Banner many decades ago. Braden's going to crank out some "O Canada" tonight. He did it a few weeks back, and there was some sort of system malfunction. We're going to have it sorted. Right, Braden? Braden's going to get out there. He's going to slash on that guitar tonight. It's going to be great. Andre is next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Andre.
Good afternoon, Mike. Well, I'm going to be quick. Get ready to take your Grand Poobah hat off and put your Farsi hat on. And really like what Marjorie Knight was talking about for the cell phones. I do agree with her. And I was impressed. 24 wins with Todd Bertuzzi, correct?
The Cambridge Redhawks had won 24 straight games, playoffs included, going back to the regular season. But they lost on Wednesday, so the Redhawks are playing tonight in St. Mary's against the Lincolns.
Impressive. So I know Monday is the only day we're going to have 20. So as Canadian, we talk about weather, we talk about sports. So enjoy the moment, and let's go Rangers.
All right, Andre, thanks for the call. Is it 20 degrees on Monday? Is that what Andre means? I hope so. It's way too ding-dang cold out there for my liking these days. Greg is with us on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Greg.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good,
well,
good.
I'm getting fed up with hearing about the big T every day. That's all everybody talks about on the news. I'm pretty well fed up with that. But, Mike, have you ever tried a raisin butter tart?
Listen here. We had a very nice conversation today about National Butter Tart Day.
That's correct.
That's right. And no, and I won't. Why would I want to do such a thing? Why would I want to ruin a butter tart with raisins, Greg?
Because a raisin gives it body, gives it flavor. Come on, Mike.
No, a raisin gets in the way, Greg. It gets in. All I just want the goo delivered directly and without obstacle.
Without obstacle.
Yeah.
Oh,
those,
Mike.
Greg, raisins are disgusting. I mean, I love you, brother, but those things are awful. They couldn't even make it in this world as a grape, so they put them into butter tarts? Come on.
You got to get together with my wife then. She doesn't like the raisin tarts either.
You married a smart lady, Greg.
Well, I hope I did. Yes. Mike, have you ever tried the tarts from Schmittsville restaurant in Wellesley?
I have indeed, sir.
They are very delicious.
They are an excellent tart. I also love them from the Sweet and Savory Pie Company in Waterloo. I love them from the Bellwood General Store. That's a fantastic spot. Doodoo's up in Baileyboro. Oh my goodness, there's lots of great places for butter tarts.
That's a great taste. And they all make great raisin butter tarts.
Okay. Listen, when we get a National Butter Tart Day, you can have your raisins. You just keep them over there, okay? Out in Wilmot, right? That's where you are.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
No problem. I'll keep them here, Mike.
Thanks, Greg. Good to hear from you today.
You betcha. Go Rangers.
I love to hear that. Go Rangers, indeed. And if you missed the conversation earlier, I will encourage you to check out our podcast when it gets posted later today, or the online archive of the show that you can always find under the audio tab or the listen tab on our website, kitchener.citynews.ca. It's not a joke. I mean, you know how much I love butter tarts and beer and butter tarts, you see. And there is a gentleman by the name of John Meisner who hails down Grimsby Way towards St. Catharines. And he has got the support of his, well, not his local MP, the MP in Simcoe County, because Simcoe County is where the woman who originally published, way back in the early 1900s, the original butter tart recipe lived. And with the support of that MP, where the first recipe was published, John Meisner has gotten the suggestion for a National Butter Tart Day onto the House of Commons agenda. The petition has grown in such number, and it's got the support of an MP, so it's sponsored, and they wish to make April the 19th National Butter Tart Day in honor of Mary McLeod, who first posted that butter tart recipe. April 19th was the day of her passing. So in honor of that, and this is way back in 1915, by the way, she's long since left us, but she also left us with this tremendous legacy, didn't she? And why shouldn't we have a National Butter Tart Day? John Meisner says he's got support from every single province and territory already as well. So if you missed the conversation this morning at 9:30, go back and give it a listen. It's no joke. And I hope, why wouldn't we have a National Butter Tart Day here in Canada? I'm not suggesting a holiday yet, but a day upon which we recognize the quintessentially Canadian delicacy that is the butter tart. I'm amazed, quite frankly, that we haven't done this yet. John Meisner was on the show this morning at 9:30. You can find the audio via our podcast or online at kitchener.citynews.ca. Free Phones Friday continues with Jason. Good afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon, Mike. Just a couple of things. I do actually have to disagree with Marjorie this morning. I don't think kids today need their phones while they're in school. You know, you and I are almost the same vintage. We did just fine, and our generation did just fine without having phones on us in case of emergencies. So I definitely disagree with that. My second thing is, though, yes, raisins belong in butter tarts.
Jason, come on.
Yes. No nuts, but give me some raisins. And third one, I'm just...
You're nuts for wanting raisins.
Well, you know, you are what you eat sometimes, I guess, right?
I guess.
And lastly, I just filed my nomination papers for this coming municipal election. So the next 6 months, it's going to be a grind. I'm going to be out there every day, and I hope and encourage other people to register as well, and try to have a say in the way your community looks.
Jason, best of luck.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Rangers.
Go Rangers. Appreciate the call. Jason Deneau filing his nomination papers on this, the first day that one can do such a thing. File their nomination papers for the October 26th election. Jason represents Ward 3 in the city of Kitchener, so he would like to be re-elected there. We have already had a member of Cambridge Council come forward and express interest in becoming the mayor of Cambridge. And I just moments ago received an email from a current public school board trustee who wishes to represent a ward on city council in Waterloo. It would be my sincere hope that you do not vote this person into office. He's done enough damage on the school board already, believe you me. But we can talk more about that as we continue. Free Phones Friday. Phone lines are open to you. 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. Free Phones Friday on the Mike Farwell Show. Join the conversation on 570 News Radio. Tenacious D, a.k.a. Jack Black. This is the kind of singing actor I can get behind. I like Jack Black. I like my Jack Black both ways. You know what I'm saying? I like my coffee black. I like my Jack Black. Tenacious D, to be the best, by request from Nate on this All Request Friday. Actors Who Sing edition. Nate is Farwell's Force member number 8. It occurs to me, we haven't talked about the Force for a while. As Farwell's Force, we are a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. We number almost 400 in sequential strength. I have lists, papers, names and numbers, and I would love to have you join our growing force for good, our force for change, our force to be reckoned with. All I ask in return is 15 minutes of your time. If you listen to this show for 15 minutes every day, not just once a week, not just once in a while, but if you listen for 15 minutes every day, any 15 minutes that you want, it's fine. It can be from 9:05 to 9:20. It can be from 10:20 till 10:35. It doesn't matter. Any 15 minutes that you listen every single day. Would love to include you with Farwell's Force. Just drop me an email, mike@570news.com. You don't have to call. You don't have to email unless you want to get on the Force, and I can add your name and number. But I think that we are a stronger community together. There is strength in our numbers, and it's been a while since I've appealed to you to join this growing force. So if you're a 15-minute listener every day, let's go. Join Farwell's Force. Just send me an email, mike@570news.com. Back to the phones here. Free Phones Friday. Greg, good afternoon.
Hi, how's it going?
Great, thanks. How's it going with you?
Can't complain.
Good.
I heard a previous caller talking about the lack of refineries in Canada, and I've had this discussion with friends as well. Even if we had refineries in Canada, it wouldn't lower the price of gasoline because once the oil's refined, they're going to still sell it at market prices. They're not going to make it cheaper in Canada because it's refined here when they could sell it internationally for the same price they're currently selling it at.
This is an excellent point made by you, Greg. So what's the answer? Just stop buying gas?
I mean, reducing gas, walking if it's within 2 blocks instead of taking your car to the corner store, or, taking your bike for a ride when it's not too far. I think a lot of times people just use gas without thinking about it. And maybe if it gets more expensive, people will be forced to think about it a little more.
It's a fair point. I mean, sure as hell it's expensive enough for me. I use it to get to work every day. It's starting to tick me off, but yeah, I hear you. All right, Greg, hey, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
No problem. Go Rangers.
Go Rangers. I like it. We got the forces gathering around our Kitchener Rangers as well. Josh Piercy and I walked more than 5 kilometers just to get some pizza while we were in Windsor. I mean, it's the best ding-dang pizza I have ever had in my life. Shout out again to Antonino's. But we walked more than 5K just to get pizza. 2 feet in a heartbeat, baby. It's all you need, as long as you've got the time to do that. And we did have the time after work on Tuesday afternoon. Dawn is next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Dawn.
Hello, Mike. All I want from you right now is a number. I've listened to you since day one.
Dawn, do you want a number? Have I got a number for you? Hang on. Okay, hang on. My list I put way too far over here. Hang on. I'm getting it. My list, my next number on the list, Dawn, is 378. What do you say?
It sounds good.
Okay, Dawn, first letter of your last name, please.
Don S.
Dawn S as in Sam.
Sounds good.
I got you, my friend. Thanks for joining Farwell's Force.
Okay, go Rangers.
Go Rangers. I think almost everybody has said that as they signed off today. We're getting close to sign-off time, which brings us closer to sign back on time tonight at 6:30 for your Harris Law pregame show. We have candidates beginning to express their intentions for the upcoming municipal election. We talked a few weeks back about Wilmot Township Councillor, Chris Wilkinson, who has expressed a desire to be mayor of Wilmot Township. There's an incumbent mayor there already in Natasha Salonen. So that's going to be interesting. And I've heard from too many people to ignore that there will be yet another name coming forward in Wilmot Township as well. Councillor Scott Hamilton in Cambridge, represents Ward 7, has expressed his interests in being mayor of the city of Cambridge. So you've got that. And I just received notice less than 30 minutes ago. Current public school board trustee Scott Piatkowski thinks he should be the city councillor in Waterloo's Ward 5. I would encourage you to check out Scott Piatkowski's record as a public school board trustee before you entrust him with a vote for a ward position in the city of Waterloo. If I voted in Waterloo, I know whose name I would not be putting an X beside on the Waterloo Council ballot. I can promise you that. Just check out the record on the public school board. Hoi, hoi, hoi. But that's what they do. Start at the school board, work your way up, so to speak. We're going to squeeze in one more before we're done for the day. Stephanie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike.
What's on your mind?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I got 30 seconds left.
Yeah, sorry, great. I just wanted to say, today's the day. I'm putting my name in again, just like Jason called in. So I thought I'd call in and join the crowd and say, happy and excited to put my name in to represent Ward 10 again.
I love it. Okay, see, I wasn't sure which Stephanie I was talking. There's another Stephanie out there in a township whose name I'm expecting to hear. This is Stephanie Stretch, Ward 10, Kitchener. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And let's go Rangers, and I'm with you. No raisins for me.
Stephanie, that gets my vote right there. Thanks for the call.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bye. Watch for the name Stephanie to show up in Wilmot Township somewhere pretty soon, too. I got to run. That's it. You know who not to vote for in Ward 5 in Waterloo? The guy who's currently on the school board. Check the record. He did it to himself. I'm going to come back tonight at 6:30. Let's talk Rangers hockey then, okay? My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.